Sorry about that. Now is that working? Let me just say, just fixed sound. There will be a lag. Right. Now it should be back. I'm waiting for people to say they can hear it, things. So fingers crossed now the lag. There's always like a 30-second lag with streaming, so it's really annoying. But thank you. What I was saying when no one could see me was hello, thank you all for joining me. Apologies in advance. I've got a really bad fever and I feel really unwell. So it really just happened around the past hour or so. I was like, can't cancel now, it's too late. But if I have to just walk away for a wee while, because I need to kind of cool myself down, my apologies. I just feel really unwell. I must have caught something, which is unfortunate. But hello everyone, thank you all for joining me. Sorry, I'm going to hiccup. I can feel it. You know when you're about to like feel a hiccup? There it is. My apologies for that. that was an uncomfortable feeling. Hello Jordan from Asia, hello Kim, hello Everly, Mike, Margaret, Eric, Roxana. There's so many people here. I'm not used to this many people. When it's just my Patreons, there's like 4 of us, so it's quite interesting to see so many people in the chat. I obviously don't do lives on YouTube very often. It's always mainly for Patreons, and we have monthly Patreons over there, but it's kind of an intimate thing, so please feel free to ask away anything that you want to talk about, or if you have any questions. I'm always happy. It's more of a chatty video. The last one I did was last year, when I hit 200k. So I thought, oh, you know, 250,000 is kind of a notable number. I thought I'd do one for that. Apologies. Yeah, I'm really out of breath. I feel myself like really heating up and burning up. So apologies if I have to end the stream, but hopefully I shan't. But yeah, I must have caught a bug, which is my own fault. I went to the university library today, and there's probably, it's a stereotype, isn't it? But my goodness, there's always bugs going around the university, even when the students aren't there. So typical, go to the library for one day, come back with like a wee bit of a fever. Hello Jimmy from Texas. Going to need a massive chin-seal law drop. Don't think there's much of my law to give, I'm afraid. Thank you all for saying get over the getting well soon. Thank you Namora, and Miles, thank you so much. And thank you for the congratulations. And hello Belinda, also from Texas. There's several people from Texas here. But yeah, I'm sure. Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying you understand if I stop streaming. Hopefully I don't have to. hopefully I don't have to for any reason. The only reason I would have to stop a stream, potentially, is if one of my dogs asks to go to the toilet. I did take them down before the stream started, but you know what tiny dogs are like. They're like, I didn't really want to go last time. Now I really want to go. So there may be me having to go festival. You see, you say festival flu, Liz, but because I'm not in Edinburgh anymore, I don't really have the Fringe Festival anymore. I only went in one day. I didn't go to the library in Edinburgh. I went to a different university library. So I've avoided Edinburgh. I would say like I'm going to hiccup again. My apologies, guys. I can feel it. I have really uncomfortable. Does anyone else have painful hiccups? Where it feels like what do you call it? It feels like it's going to really like it's quite sharp. So I make quite a loud noise and it really hurts. My apologies. But I feel really uncomfortable when I have a hiccup. Oh, and Snuffle Truffle asks, I was wondering if I thought you work in academia. I do not work in academia at all. What is your expertise? I'm not working in academia at all. I don't really have an expertise either. I study classics and ancient history, but I wouldn't call that my expertise either. I'm kind of sailing in the wrong field. I specialise more in literature in those fields. So I'm not a real classicist, even though technically I am, because that's my degree title and that's what my degree status says that I have a degree in, but I wouldn't class it as expertise either. I kind of, you know what, I realise now in life, my YouTube channel's the same as I am in academia. I'm terrible at not specialising in anything. I'm terrible at not really having a niche, and that sets me back in so many ways. So it's a typical thing. Let's see, make sure I'm no questions. So sorry Snuffle. Is it Snuffle Truffle? It was Snuffle Truffle. Thank you for all the well wishing as they're getting well soon. Everly, my apologies. My partner had norovirus last week or the week before, and I was like, oh, I didn't catch it. That's unusual. I wonder if it's one of those that's taken a while to hit me. But fingers crossed it's not, because he didn't have a fever. But what's the pain is he's not here to take care of me. Like, I was there to take care of him. So, catch 22. You can hear seagulls in the background, Eric. One of the joys of living by the seaside, as well as one of the pains, is that I get seagulls right outside my window, and they also shit on my window all the time. And my dogs are scared of seagulls. And we had a moment the other day when a seagull swooped down on my dog and tried to like attack her, and thankfully I swooped her up fast enough. But seagulls can be, they're not that bad on this side of the coast of Scotland. Where I used to live, they were kind of aggressive, more in the city. The city centre seagulls are kind of brutal. They're kind of like almost, they are far more dinosaurish than the coastal ones, and English seagulls are worse, particularly like in places like Brighton and things like that, so they can be incredibly aggressive. So I've got medium-sized aggressive seagulls, but you can tell they're dinosaurs, can't you, these gulls? Hello, so greetings from Switzerland. I wanted to thank you for getting me into reading. Oh, amazing. I think I have read 15 books over the last 18 months. That's amazing. Congratulations, I'm really happy to hear it. So Old Witch said my teachers know to take multivitamins when term starts. Absolutely, I'm dreading that, because obviously when the university students are back, I'm going to catch everything. I'm going to catch all of the stuff. I'll get freshest flu, whatnot, and I'm not even at the university. Hello, let me say, sorry, Christianity. That's a really fancy, pretty name. Bulgaria. Hello, thank you for joining on the live stream, and thank you for Andrea for saying congratulations. So Roxana says, is ancient Greece your passion? Mine is ancient Egypt. I'm not sure. I can't decide between ancient Greece and ancient Rome. I just really like ancient civilizations. But really, I mean, my passion, I think, is literature, first and foremost. And I happen to be now specialising in looking at literature relating to and about ancient texts. So, and I can't pick between which ancient texts I love the most. If I were to visit a place, I prefer to visit Greece. To see the ancient sites. Sorry, I keep getting very unwell. My apologies if you hear me go, I feel like very dizzy, lightheaded then. Fingers crossed, I'm absolutely okay. Make sure. But ironically, there was a creator today who's organising an ancient Egyptian gathering, where everyone goes on holiday in ancient Egypt together. And I was like, I'm really tempted to do that. I don't have £2,500 to be able to do that. Thank you, Tojo, for saying congratulations. Namora said, Namora, hopefully I said that rightly, sorry, said, how are you enjoying life by the sea, especially in Scotland? It is much nicer out here. I do love Edinburgh, but I didn't realise how loud Edinburgh was. Or rather, I didn't realise, how accustomed I was to kind of blaring out the sound. It's quite, so for starters, where I lived obviously never really saw my flat, but I never had any natural sunlight come into my flat. I lived surrounded by other buildings, and my building was amongst other buildings. And you had the crack, but there wasn't actually any sight or sunlight, and none of my windows could open much except for one, but you couldn't leave the windows open because there were lots of mice and rats outside my windows. So if you left one open, they welcomed themselves in. They were always standing outside the window, particularly mice. So it feels really nice to live in an area where I can walk outside and I don't have to wear noise cancelling headphones or earplugs, because it's not completely suffocating with noise. And that was a major turn. Also, having sunlight in your flat and being able to open windows, something I haven't done for 11 years, was kind of insane. I didn't realise how much I needed that kind of stuff. So living in the countryside and not having excessive noise pollution, I didn't realise how much that was really harming me. So that's what I think I like the most about living outside now by the countryside, particularly in Edinburgh. You know what? I saw the other day 3 seals near me. There were 3 seals. I saw 2 a week before that, and then I saw 3 in the same spot. And I saw an octopus the other day outside my flat, technically. And I also see like jellyfish. We went in the sea the other day, and there were lots of little jellyfish around us. And I was like, oh, they look like they will sting us. So there's quite a lot of nature, which is really, really nice. Sorry if I missed people. Arts and Fluffy asked, do you consider yourself Scottish now? I can never be Scottish. The Scots are naturally so. I can be a Scottish citizen. I will never be Scottish. There's too much culture and significance in their lineage. And just how you grew up in Scotland is incredibly different. And it's quite sad because you can feel like an outsider a lot of the time. That you try and get involved in things. And there's always going to be something whilst they're incredibly welcoming people, you can't fit into certain culture sectors as someone who's not Scottish. And it's a little bit sad in some ways. As much as you want to learn about it, you'll always not be part of the culture here. But I am a Scottish citizen, and I'll always refer to myself as that. When people ask me where I'm from, I say I'm from Scotland. Because that's where I'm planning to live the rest of my life. So yes, I lived 20 years in Birmingham, but if I live 60 here, I'd rather classify myself as a citizen of this country than there. Nick said, only 250,000, such a shame, most of the world's still missing out on a fix of Chinsey goodness. I'm sure there's a lot of excellent content out there, though, that they are filling themselves up on. Thank you. Hello, Chef Daddy Oppa. Thank you so much for the congratulations on things. And hello to Australia. I saw Peter waving. That is, isn't it? I'd be embarrassing if I suddenly was like, oh, wait, I don't know. What's the New Zealand flag? New Zealand! I'm so sorry, that's so offensive. I was just like, wait, it's a New Zealand flag, not an Australian flag, isn't it? Oh no, I'm so sorry. That's so offensive. Literally, I went, I'm second guessing myself. Oh no, I've lost the tab where I was just, this is why I shouldn't open other tabs, because now I'm lost. Have I been to Cape Town before? No, I've never been to Cape Town. I haven't been to a lot of places in my life. But there's a lot of places I would love to go, but I'm really scared of flying. I cried on my last plane, which is very embarrassing. Not like loudly, but I do like sob silently into my seat when I'm flying. So people know. Hello from, okay, Worcester. Is it Worcester or what? I'm going to say Worcester. Hello, Melanie. Oh, thank you. Am I looking forward? Christianity asks, is this right? I'm saying that, isn't it? Am I looking forward to Nolan's Odyssey and expectations? I'm kind of tit for tat. I love Nolan's films, so I have high hopes there. To be fair, I thought he was going to do something a bit more interesting. I thought he was going to do the Telemachy, because when I heard Zendaya and Tom Holland were going to be in it, I immediately went, oh, he's going to be Telemachus and she's going to be Athena. And I'm not sure if she is Athena. We know he's going to be Telemachus, but I'm not sure she's Athena. She'd make a perfect Athena. And because if a goddess could pick whatever she's going to look like, she's going to pick to look like Zendaya, isn't she? So I would have liked him to have done a Telemachy. I feel like there's more room for an interesting story to be done there, when the Odyssey has been done a lot. I'm upset not upset. I think I was disappointed that he didn't pick a single Greek actor or Mediterranean actor, particularly considering, the British are kind of renowned for taking over everyone's shit. You know, they kind of claim the classics as the Western world as their own and have profiteered off Greek culture for centuries. It would have been nice for him to have acknowledged that. It feels like the film version of the Elgin marbles, the Parthenon marbles of it. So it would have been nice to have included some Greek actors in there. He's big enough. Nolan is big enough. He doesn't need big names for people to come to his films. He could have picked someone who's not known by like Anglo audiences. And additionally, he's filming in Scotland. I'm not sure, obviously it's going to be probably a lot of post-edit stuff, but when he was filming in Scotland, I was like, well, those castles are very evidently medieval. They're not the stones that was made out of, that would have been available in ancient Greece. They're not ancient Greek looking in the slightest. Yes, it's cool because it's in the cliffside, but it's very obviously medieval. It's also incredibly green and doesn't have the same foliage, so maybe there's going to be a lot of post-edit production, but then I would argue why filming got Scotland at all. So I'm kind of interested to see what the post-editing will look like. It would have been cooler to have done, I feel like, more actually in the Mediterranean, and bring attention to those cultures and the people, and like not take advantage of the locals, which the English have done for centuries. So it would have been nice, but I would be interested in the Odyssey. I don't really have high expectations. I don't really know how I feel. I'm just like, I think I've just been a little tiny bit disappointed. And I know the armour isn't accurate either. That I'm not too fussed by. It would have been nice if, even though I know the armour is ugly, it would have been nice just because he has the opportunity to, again, he doesn't need the Hollywood aesthetics to sell his films. It's Christopher Nolan. So he's gone beyond the need to like pull bums and seats out of aesthetics and out of star-studded casts. Everyone knows it, particularly on the heels of Oppenheimer. Even if they weren't massive fans of Christopher Nolan, most people know the famed Oppenheimer film and will want to see another film by that person. So I feel like he just missed opportunities to take risks that he could have done, but I don't know. I'm not a film director, am I? I'm just a bit of a knob sitting at home. So thank you. Have I read the Vampire Chronicles? I haven't, Beatrice. Is that the what's her face? The why is her name Anne Carson? No, it's not Anne Carson. What's her name? Anne Rice. Anne Rice, is that her stories? I haven't read those at all. Thank you, Renaissance, for congratulations. Tulsi, hello. Totally got me into reading about ancient texts and history. Amazing, fantastic. I did not study anything like that in school, so it's definitely a struggle for exercising the intellectual skills. I'm the same. I didn't study any of it in school either. It does still take me a long time to get around texts, so do not feel alienated to there. If we had the privilege of being having access to those texts when we were younger, we may find them easier to digest. Roxana said, I try to read about ancient Greece and Rome, but I can't relate with it. But with ancient Egypt, something else. That's interesting to hear. That's really interesting. I never thought of a difference between relation. I think I've just seen them all the same. Liz's going to ask if I've seen any sea creatures. I've seen loads. Hi, Lecat from Glasgow. Hello, my neighbour across the other coast. Do you have any recommendations for fiction? Oh no, it jumped. No, it jumped. Let me go back. Do I have any recommendations for fiction about women struggling in their careers? Ooh, that's very specific. Women struggling in their careers. Does anyone else have a recommendation for that? I'm trying to think of... It's not really career-based, but have you read any of the non-fiction by Virginia Woolf? I find her essays would be borderline. That, obviously not career, but the idea of a woman in her place, in her stead. But fiction... A lot of my fictions... I'm terrible. Most of my fiction is written by men. Would you mind if I like had my tab open on Goodreads and had a little browse of my own reading history? I can't think of any that would be pertinent to today's society. But finding women talking about their experiences, finding themselves, I would say Virginia Woolf's essays, purely because they're kind of a bit... They're distant enough for it to almost be applicable in certain circumstances that wouldn't apply. That's really hard. I genuinely can't think of any suddenly in careers. My mind's going through all my books. No, it's not the same. I was thinking of there's one that was just suddenly popped in my head about a rock star singer, thinking about her career, but that's very different. I'll come back to that if that pops in my head, if that's okay. Thank you. Nico thought, I thought the Scots and Irish are the same. No. Well, so Nico, you said Scottish citizenship doesn't actually exist. Being a Scottish citizen does exist in terms of, so if you live in Scotland for 3 years, you're entitled to going to university for free. But if you live in it less than 3 years, you can't. So you have rights as a Scottish citizen. That's not the same as British citizenship, but being a Scottish citizen is different from citizenship. But the Irish and Scots are not the same, because I don't have Irish citizenship, even though I am biologically Irish. All my family is Irish. I'm 80% Irish, but I could apply for Irish citizenship had I had any contact with my father's family, because I need proof of their Irish citizenship, and I don't have that, so I can't apply for being an Irish passport, as it were. So we don't have the same thing. There's not a Scottish passport as there is an Irish passport, but there are Scottish citizens' rights that are different from English citizens' rights. Listen, I don't really feel Scottish. I don't think we ever do. I mean, obviously Scottish people do, but I don't really feel anything. I was actually having this thought a while ago, how I just don't really feel anything. It's probably because I don't actually fit in anywhere. Like, genetically Irish, born and raised in England, now living in Scotland, I don't really ever feel like I'm welcome or belong anywhere. Everly says Irish and Scots have a lot of similar. Yeah, Gaelic and Gaelic, obviously. There's a lot of similarities between. But I would say that I only have heard from my Irish friends. But again, that culture's so different from ours. And that's my Northern Irish friends. I don't know anyone Southern Irish, and yet all my family's from Dublin. I don't know any of them. So it's quite a strange situation to be in. Oh, so the Scottish thing sounds similar to my friend from Hawaii. She was born there, but is not a Hawaiian native, so makes her distractions from her history and cultural experience. That's interesting. Yeah, I suppose a lot. I mean, I'm of a very, very privileged position. It's not like it's like second and third world, second and third generation children from immigrants, which is obviously different races and different cultures, way more difficulties than I can imagine. What I like about Scotland is, it is quite multicultural. It's not as much less so than Birmingham, where I grew up. But I do like seeing how different cultures in Scotland, of like different races, different religions, I can see them in my community, and how there's each like a niche of culture within those Scottish communities, but they are distinctly Scottish, and that's really interesting to see as an outsider. It doesn't fit in either. Oh, hello, Jeremiah. How are you? Do I have a favourite story from Ovid? I mean, they're quite depressing, aren't they? But I would say at the moment I'm writing extensively about Philomela. It's weird to say that it's a favourite for obvious reasons. I do love... I mean, it sounds a bit basic, but I do love the Arachne story. I feel like that's something that just so... but again, it's based on my research, so I think I'm a bit biased by... I do a lot about weaving in literature. I'm currently working on a chapter for a book on weaving, so I'm kind of always a bit biased towards weaving. So I would say Arachne and Athena. I'm sorry behind so many questions. Sorry if I'm really far up. I don't want to miss people's questions. And Adriana, hi, I really admire what you do. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Oh, Zendaya is Athena. I missed the news, but I was right. I was right. She'd be a perfect Athena. Let's call it. The second they said her name, I was like, she's Athena. And of course, obviously, because Athena and Telemachus's relationship, it made sense as well that he was doing that. Shadow asks, has anyone read Percy Jackson here? My therapist recommended it to me and I'm loving it so far. That's an interesting... I've never heard of a therapist recommending fiction to people. I never read Percy Jackson. I was too old when those books came out to be part of that train. But I ironically know of someone who's doing their PhD on Percy Jackson, which is really interesting, like all the Percy Jackson books they're specialising it in. Oh, hello, Jimmy. It says, wondering what does academic research look like in your area of study, like the actual process of research. Mine's not as interesting as a lot of other people's. You know, like archaeologists have like on-site, and historians have, you know, they get to go to the libraries and archives and they get to handle like old manuscripts and old letters. Mine's less interesting than that. Mine's just really sitting here, not really moving from the spot. And finding articles written by topics I'm interested in, or reading this article and then comparing it to this article, and then it's all very basically my day doesn't change. My academic again, I suppose I'm also limited by the fact that I'm self-funded. So if you have funding, you can afford to go to places. You can afford to go down to Oxford to use the Bodleian Library, or you can go to archives and things like that. I don't require many archives at all, and I don't require... I feel like it's kind of like pathetic, my research, and quite honestly my research process. People, you know, a lot of other PhD students have very interesting things where they can travel a lot or go to different places. Because I'm not... my research doesn't justify. The only place that would technically make sense is if I ask for funding to go to America, because I do a lot about American politics in one of my chapters, which isn't very classics at all, is it? But I look at classical reception. So I would be looking at like potentially going to different Washington and things like that, which doesn't sound very exotic. And again, I don't think I could argue the case strong enough to get funding to go to America or anywhere else. So sadly, my research is quite boring. It's basically like office work. I just sit here with my wee little iPad and take notes on articles and then write it up. So it's not very exciting. Hello, Dinah. Thank you for joining us on a live stream. Hi, Visesh. Sorry, I saw you saying hello earlier and I didn't say hello. I'm sure I see Matt Damon as a I'm not. Oh, so Vishesh says, sorry. I'm not sure I see Matt Damon as Odysseus. I'm the same. I'm the same. So it seems like they're trying to make him into more of a typical action hero as opposed to a renowned wit of guy. I'm the same. I think that's what's probably not giving me very high expectations. Matt Damon isn't the first person I pick for Odysseus. You know, he doesn't look Mediterranean. He doesn't look like a rugged pirate in any shape or form. He does look traditional action hero-y. And it's just there's nothing giving me Mediterranean man who's been travelling for 20 years. You know, like it's long. I would imagine him having long hair, you know, kind of like rugged. Borderline a sober version of Captain Jack Sparrow. Far more of I don't know. There's just not that. Maybe his acting will prove me wrong, and he'll have this like charisma that's just like, okay, I can see Odysseus in it. But it's not giving me the Odysseus vibe that I would imagine in my head. He just looks too put together. It's almost too neat. So yeah, I kind of agree with you there. Do I know Newfoundland? I know of it. I've never been. Beatrice, that's a great... So talking about women with career issues, going back to the comment, Beatrice recommends Elena Ferrante. Yes, I could see her books talking about there. Angela asks, what's my area of study? I think I already answered it, but if you missed that, it's just classics, ancient classics. Oh, Sneffel says Lessons in Chemistry is a good recommendation for a woman's career. I haven't read it, but that's a good recommendation. Thank you for, and Joan Didion, everyone's recommending that. Thank you for all sharing your recommendations. Hopefully they saw it. Blank says, just want to say I love your videos. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Hope everyone realises I feel a little bit better. So I'm sorry I still feel a bit lower in energy, but I feel a bit better. So I'm not feeling too lightheaded or anything like that. Oh good, Le Cat saw all the recommendations from people. Fantastic. I'm wondering, Joan did, you know what, Anya no as well, but Joan Didion's had a bit of a comeback. I think I keep seeing her books everywhere. I think they've republished the covers or something like that. I keep seeing all of her books everywhere. But thank you all for sharing. Uncanny Valley as well by Anne Weiner. What's my favourite Shakespeare play? So for reading, from nostalgic, it's Twelfth Night. For reading, it's Richard II, Henry IV Part 1, and no, I say it's Richard II and Henry IV Part 1 are my favourite plays for reading, and for nostalgia reasons, Twelfth Night, because that was the first Shakespeare play that I was in when I was on stage in a real theatre, when I was 14 years old. And then it was also my first ever Fringe production when I was 2018, so late 20s. And what's funny is when I was 14 years old, I was playing Duke Orsino, the main chap, and then as an adult I played Olivia, who's his love interest, so it's kind of funny to play both sides of the coin. I got to play her as a horny bisexual woman, which was fantastic. Hello Miss Vlad. Oh sorry, that jumped again. Hi Jinsey, I recently saw your video about I thought it'd be so cool if you could do a... Oh, okay. So you saw my video on Mitchell Castle Wassel, and it was so cool. Sorry, it jumped, so I went pause then because I lost the comment. It could be so cool if you do more death goddesses and other related divinities. I can have a look into it. My videos don't do very well on folklore and mythology, which is why I kind of walked away from them, because like, well, no one's really watching them, and they take a lot of time to edit. But I love talking about death culture. Maybe I can put it back into Halloween. I'll have a loan see and see if there's anything I can pop into Halloween that may work with the algorithm, because it's sad that I like that area. It just doesn't do well on YouTube, which is a bit of a shame. Or rather, it does do well on YouTube. I'm not very good at content creation to make it work. The people who do really well with those kind of dark history videos have like elaborate setups, and they're really good at knowing exactly how to phrase things. I'm just not very good at history essays, so it's a shame. I love it, I really respect it, but I'm sadly not a very good creator in terms of that. So Nathaniel said, try living in America, you're not accepted. But then Wishfire says, as an Irish person, you're more than welcome here. Thank you. I never realised you're Irish. I'm Irish too. I grew up in Dublin. Evilly, so according to my DNA, I'm 78.9% Irish, and then the rest of me is Scandinavia, Eastern Europe, and it's gone out of my head. The word has literally just gone out of my head. Middle Eastern. So I'm basically Viking by the looks of things. I'm like, okay, I basically came from the other, like Eastern European and Middle Eastern take up like 3% in total, but the rest of me is Scandinavian, and then the 78.9% is Irish. So I was like, okay, I'm basically Viking. But it's such a shame because I have all the evidence. So when you apply for an Irish passport, you need your proof of your birth certificate, your father's birth certificate, any marriage certificates that imply to your grandparents that that's your grandparent and that's their child, and all that jazz. I have all that information, but I don't have proof of a photo ID of either of my father's side, which have the strongest Irish roots. So because I don't have any photo ID, I can't apply for a passport, even though I have all the documentation that I'm from an Irish lineage. Because I don't have their photo IDs, I can't apply. It's really frustrating. That's the final hurdle to get it. Oh wow, and Josh says I have grandparents from Mexico, Italy, Lebanon and Ireland. Wow, that's insane. That's such a cool mixture of people. I'm so kind of straight-laced in terms of my genetics. It was funny though, because obviously I sound incredibly English, but I've got 0% English in me. And then my partner did the DNA test, and then he came back with I think it was 48% English. I was like, ha ha. Like, you're so English and I'm not. Nico says, sorry, I've got an itchy nose. Nico says, I'm half Slovak and Ghanaian. Wow. But then you don't have any contact with the Ghanaian family. Oh no, it's so sad. But I feel it so much. Sorry, I think my dog just made a funny noise. If you heard like a weird noise, I was like, Oh, sorry, I keep clicking the comments, trying to like read them, and then it blocks the comment out, so I can't read it after I block it out. Time Lord says, do you think there are any mythologies, are myths that need adapting? I'm in media, would love an adaptation of the Epic of Gilgamesh. See, I don't know if any of them need adapting. I suppose I'm more of a, I'm not going to say purist in any shape or form, but there's not any that I feel like I'm like, oh yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that in a film or anything. You know what I think would be more interesting is if they did more myths as like television series, so a little bit more stretched out rather than like a film, where it's kind of condensed into one thing. It's be more interesting to see something like the Iliad or the Odyssey in a television series, which went far more nitty gritty into everything. I don't know, it'd be kind of more curious. I think there should be a bit like the Telemachy would be great. I think seeing something like people working with what fragments of knowledge that we have of it, so it'd be easier, because it's hard to read even about them because the ancient sources are so scattered. It's not an easy thing for everyone to do in their free time. So if someone had the patience to be like, actually, I'm going to take what fragments I know about stories that we know about Telemachy and all the missing parts of the epic cycle and made that into a film, but then you can make it really arty and creative and have like fragments of missing knowledge, so it can become like kind of like an art nouveau kind of film, like a weird modernist film where it's a bit scattered and fragmenty. That would be actually really cool. And I think people would have a lot of fun with the creative side of that. But that requires a lot of work. I know I'm not a film director, so I can do it. Tulsi House, where can we see my academic writing? Probably nowhere, quite frankly, honestly. It's so the chapter that I'm writing for the book may get rejected. You know, I'm on my second draft for it, but there's a chance that the publisher could reject my chapter and go, actually, we don't like this chapter. So there's a chance it does get published. I write it all, submit it for, September, and then the final deadline in December, for February, hard deadline next year, and they could reject it. But if it does go to publish, it will be in a book, which is going to be fun. It's not, it's so funny how academics look down on published books. They prefer articles in journals rather than published texts, so it's not as exciting. But it would be available then, but I'd share if it actually went to book, but then it'd be an academic textbook, which would kind of be a bit expensive. So I'm sadly, academic writing's just so gatekept, isn't it? And because I'm not massively published at all anywhere, it'd be hard. If I can share things, if I ever have open access, I will, but I'm not very good at academia, so I'm not really someone who gets published. Jonathan Sargent, hello, said, what philosopher do you think has had the most influence on your writing or research? It's going to sound controversial, but Heidegger. Before he became a Nazi, I thought he was, when I was reading Being in Time, I was like, this is, wow. It really stuck with me when I was reading about existentialism for the first time. I kind of was floored by his work, and it was more, I couldn't believe how he evolved as an individual based on his writings. Obviously I only saw selective, of all of his writings. Obviously his diaries are far more horrific, but from his actual philosophical perspective, I was like, this is actually life changing. I just don't understand how he became who he was after that. The logic makes no sense, or the follow line, and Nietzsche. And then I suppose also from a more conventional perspective, but I'm not sure if he counts. Alain de Botton really influences me as well. I noticed in my video that's going up next week, on Wednesday, I wrote it, and then someone told me it sounds just like Alain de Botton, which I took as a compliment. But I noticed he and I actually have very similar writing styles, very honestly organically, because I've like not read that much of his work, because I didn't like some of his work, quite honestly. I've been very critical of some of his writing before, and also some of his perspectives from his philosophy, but I also really admire his work ethic. And so, yeah, I would say from a modern perspective, I haven't read many modern philosophers. Like, I haven't read any Zizek, even though I have Zizek. It's just a little bit intimidating. It's very like, oh. And I would say, I mean, it's been a long time, but I remember really enjoying Saussure, and reading that and wanting to blow my brains out, but also really appreciating it afterwards. Helen Saussure and I have a lot of fights, so no. It's like, oh, Kari says, like, oh, Kari, is it Kari or Carrie? My apologies if I said that wrong. I wouldn't want to be in the, and you know what, I wouldn't be welcome in the US either, based on like my perspectives on the world of I wouldn't be welcome. They'd probably like take me away. They're like, we saw what you said about Trump like 6 years ago. I've written a lot of scathing stuff about him, hence why I've got a lot of books about Trump. So if any of that academic writing got published, they would not welcome me in the US ever. I'd be probably on a blacklist somewhere. Dinah says, are there any existing mythology-based series or movies that you think are well done? One of my favourite films is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Which is starring George Clooney, and I still think it's the best adaptation of the Odyssey. I think the Coen brothers did an incredible job with that. I really love that film. And I would also, it just went up my head. Obviously, Ray Harryhausen's films as well. I was a child when I was watching those for the first time back on television, and they were incredibly influential. And also Disney's Hercules, as much as obviously it isn't accurate according to the myth in any shape or form, it's incredibly well done. That is an example of classical reception that bends the rules, but then plays a hell of a lot of respect to the culture they're writing about. You know how, like, when I know a lot of people aren't this picky, but you know, when Beyonce many years ago, I think it was either her name or something that she wrote in Greek letters, but because she used Greek letters that looked like the letter they were using, it spelled like it was like they use the Greek alphabet to symbolize English letters, so it made no sense. Whereas Disney took the style of the Greek alphabet to write Hercules. They didn't like misappropriate the Greek language or the Greek alphabet to do their job. That's a really well done version of reception, in my opinion, in terms of like, oh, they've taken the style, they've used it, they respected that, rather than just like, bleh, let's use these letters, that looks cool. They spell a stupid word in Greek. It's not that deep, but it's just like taking small moments like that, or like small jokes about roads, or just like subtle digs about the myths in Hercules is done really well. And so I think that's really well done. But I think Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is the best kind of adult film by it. And what else did I say? I can't remember now. I'm so bad. Oh, I can't scroll down without losing where I was. Oh, here we go. Hello. Oh no, I knew it. It would jump. For some reason, it just jumps randomly. So I lose everywhere where I was going. So my apologies if I keep missing people. Oh, Christianity thinks, I think Nolan will try and spin it into some kind of quantum fourth dimension Odyssey, where Odysseus fell into a metaphysical black hole or something. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. It'd be really weird, but I wouldn't put it past him either. Thank you, Love. Is that Lovewin? Lovewin? Thank you so much for your for saying well done. A very default says, are there any classics that you would consider a must-read? And if so, top 3. Classics, ancient texts or modern day classics. Ancient classics, obviously, then I'd have to say the Odyssey and the Iliad, because they're kind of like fundamental. But everyone overlooks the Aeneid, but they're kind of already fundamental, and it sounds like a really basic thing. For contemporary classics, I mean, I always love Moby Dick, so I'm always going to recommend Moby Dick. This is hard, actually. Hold on. I love Sense and Sensibility. It's not everyone's favourite, but I love Sense and Sensibility. And that's the one I always say I would always push over Pride and Prejudice. And it's more... No, because that goes into modern classics. When we're looking at classics and not ancient classics. There's so many layers of classics, aren't there? Okay, still in modern classics. Let me look. I loved David Copperfield. So I would say if someone wants to get into Dickens, David Copperfield would be my third recommendation. And that would give you classics, I think, give a broad spectrum of what the classics are. Hello Anna, thank you for coming to the live stream. I'm just seeing you saying David said it'd be cool to hear you talk about folklore for Halloween. I can look into it. Everyone's saying like Halloween, yes. Have I frozen? No, I haven't. I thought I froze then. Apologies if you talked about this before. What's your opinions on As You Like It? It's my favourite Shakespeare play. I fell in love with it. That's so interesting. I like As You Like It. I've seen a couple of good productions of it, including Shitface Shakespeare production of it, which kind of ruined it a little bit for me. I love Shitface Shakespeare, but their production of As You Like It, it didn't work very well. A lot of plays work for Shitface Shakespeare. That was not one of them. I saw a really cool As You Like It when I was a child in a park, and there was like a deer. There were loads of deers over the side of the fence that we were in, and we were on the floor, and then they kind of crawled into the audience when they were doing the play, and that was really fun. I remember that quite distinctly. But I suppose I'm more of a history play person, so it's not whilst I love the comedies, I'm more into the histories, weirdly enough. Oh, thank you, Disabled on Times. Thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. So I've only just seen it now. Found you after a TBI that left me from being able to read. Retain new information for a while. Just finished at uni. Congratulations on finishing uni. And thank you so much. So Lenny says you have a real gift for relating books, retelling Bartleby, for example. Do I? Thank you. Hello, Oliver from Luxembourg. Hello. Abysmal End said, I remember you have 5k subs. I can't believe. I know. That was a long... it wasn't that long ago, to be fair. It wasn't that long ago when I only had 5k subs. Time Lord says the Viking sagas would make a great TV show. You're right, they would make... that would do a good television series kind of thing. It would stretch out quite nicely. B Road said, I would like to say that your channel's wonderful, inspired me to start reading. Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm really happy. Jose was like, I thought you were going to talk about Heidegger when you said controversial. It's just like, I always get very scared mentioning it, but like, his work was fantastic before he became a Nazi. It's like, how? But then, all the other philosophers who knew him were also equally as confused. Hannah Arendt, for example, was just like, So it's like, it's not just me. Everyone was a bit like, really? How did that work? Jeremiah said, when I saw Folklore, I immediately thought of my favourite Taylor Swift album. Chintzia is one of the relatively few women I follow and won't be excited about them coming out. So I've talked about this guy. I don't know anything really about Taylor Swift, and I feel really left out because everyone really was crazy for her. I was saying this online on Blue Sky the other day. I was like, everyone's like really excited. And I was like, I want to be this excited. Everyone's excited, and I know you feel excited because I don't know anything about her. Like, I don't know anything about this music, and it feels like everyone's got that hypermania that we used to have back in the Harry Potter days, when the next book was coming out, that kind of excitement, that thrill. And she's managed to create a culture where everyone feels that much excitement, which, good on her. That's a real skill, to have people that excited for something in life. I haven't felt that way since I was a kid, with the Harry Potter books. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know anything about it, so it'd be completely forced if I were to join the bandwagon now. Yeah, it's really exciting, isn't it? It's like orange. It was like talking about how it's orange. I'm like, yeah, it's orange. I'm really just trying to blend in. I just can't. I was like, I'm so sorry. I know like 5 of her songs. And I think they sound nice. They sound nice. I never listen to music. Oh, Liz said all the devil myths from Scottish folklore would be a cool film, like low budget dark comedy. That would actually be really, really funny. It's like, yes, there's always like, but all like a really thick Ouija accent. So also the devil has a Ouija accent. I saw a play at the Fringe the other day where Jesus had a Scouser accent. That was genius. I recently started my bachelor's. Well done. I don't know what your bachelor's is in, Night Owl, but congratulations. Do I have any advice for me? I mean, obviously I'm looking back at my undergraduate was obviously quite a bad experience. So what would I give advice for? It would be ask for help if you need it. Don't be embarrassed about asking for help. And make friends. I didn't make any. And I kind of then became, I think it's your last chance to make friends in life, really. After that, it's going to be really, really hard. And I was just too shy to make friends. I just kind of went to the library first thing in the morning, left in the evening, worked full time outside of that, like worked on my days off. So it was very much a work situation for me. I would just say try and make friends. You don't have to do it the drinking way, like the alcoholic way, although I think that's probably why I didn't make many friends, because I didn't drink. So that was really hard to try and break into the uni culture. But I would say use your library. One thing I don't regret is using my library as much as I did. Use it all the time. Like use books more. You know what, I would say use the books in your library more than the online archive material, because whilst I only can use online stuff because I don't live near my university library, hopefully it's not going to change, but hopefully I'll be able to save up enough money now I'm living with my partner to be able to take trips down to my university a couple of times a year, so I can actually use the library, which would be really exciting, because I'm really sad that whilst I don't miss my own home, I wish I lived near my university. So yeah, I would prioritise using library resources over e-resources. You will get so much more out of it that way. And yeah, just use the library. I don't regret not using the library as much as I did. Una says, and speaking of the Odyssey, I strongly believe Tarantino would be nearly perfect for filming it. Murdering the guests and then most of the slaves is very much his style. That's true. Let me see what I've got. Hello, Julia, is it Julia from Brazil? Hello, hope you have an amazing day. I love Frankenstein. Could you recommend something to me? Like Frankenstein. I'm having a hard time finding something that catches me like this book. Okay. If you like Frankenstein, I'm going to think that we're leaning into the more gothic-y realm in general. There's nothing really the same as, if you haven't read The Picture of Dorian Gray, I highly recommend The Picture of Dorian Gray. I think that would capture you the same way. In terms of modern texts, sadly my gothic shelves are on the other side of that wall. So I'm trying to think of any that would give you the Frankenstein-esque vibe. You see, I say this as someone who's not that big a fan of Frankenstein, so I'm trying to think of things like I wouldn't read myself, but have read, and therefore in this context can recommend, but not based on my own likes. Does that make sense? You know what I would also recommend actually is the British Library have a series of the British Library collectors editions. So if you search the British Library collections editions, you'll see them, and they have Gothic editions, so they have a whole collection of Gothic works. They're on different themes, so you have like nautical Gothic, you have fungus Gothic, and they're all stories, old and new, under this theme, largely old, from archives. So the British Library do amazing series on, and I think that actually, for me, they're the most interesting publisher of Gothic is the British Library. So look at those and see which ones tickle your fancy, as it were, because there's loads of different subgenres under the British Library collections. It's like the Gothic collection, I believe it's called. Let me get the full name for you so I'm not making it up. British Library. It's a British Library series. Let me see. British Library. They've got the crime classics. We've got, where's the horror? Horror. Let me see. Oh, they got, I remember, so the Tales of the Weird. They've got the Gothic and Supernatural collection. I think it's known as British Library Tales of the Weird. If you look at that, you've got Eerie East Anglia, The Weird Woods, Evil Roots, Circles of Stone, and like Cornish. So you've got like that kind of British Gothic that's old in the same era. Like a lot of these are written in the same era, or not too far into the future, so not too modern. I think that you may find something according to your taste in there, or Dorian Gray if you haven't read that. Jack Dolan said, you'll be more than welcome here in New York. Have you been? No, I haven't been. I think I went to America when I was 14 and it was just Florida. And I think it was just my friend was going on holiday to Disney World and her parents very kindly paid for me to join. So I got to go there for a few days to see Disney. And that was it, really. And I was like, I was 14 or 13 years old, so I was very, very young. But I think I'd be too scared to go to America nowadays, quite honestly. My partner has to go to America next month for 6 weeks. And he's not looking forward to it. He's kind of terrified, to be quite frank. He's like, oh my god. So at least you're not like me. You know, you don't have social media. You're not vocal about right-wing politics against right-wing politics. You'll be fine. just don't tell them you're associated to me. Let me just make sure. Sorry, I'm so far behind. I'm so sorry. I know lots of people. Thank you so much for those of you who are actually still commenting. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm not missing people. B Rose had like, have I ever watched the Journeys of Xena Warrior Princess or Hercules Legendary Journeys? I haven't. I never saw either of those. Hello Daniel in Colombia. Hello, thank you for joining. Nico, I think you asked, am I Christian or Catholic? I'm neither. I was christened, but I am neither. I am no religious affiliation at all anymore. Though it was a big fight in the family that I was being christened and not joining the Catholic Church. For my grandmother was very, very, very upset that there was a big fight. I don't remember. I wasn't even one at the time, but there was a big, big, big fight that I wasn't being made Catholic. Let me see and make sure catching up with people. Everyone can hear the seagulls apparently. I'm so sorry. I've kind of zoned them out. Like, I'm so used to them that I don't actually hear them anymore. Hello Daniel. Lady of the Library, what would you recommend to a new university student about to study literature? It's not a little topic. It's a little off topic, but thank you. From Jamaica. Hello Daniel. I would say read everything. So I was really lucky that I was a bit of a swot naturally. So when you get a reading list and they give you all the things that you should read on that reading list, because they're quite nice at university, they give you like, you should read these articles by these people. You don't have to search for them yourself. You should read these articles and you should read this book in full. Read everything before going to a lecture or seminar. Yes, that means reading lots. Yes, that means you may not be able to go out. Yes, that means that you may not be like watching much television or whatnot. Read everything, because I felt like I had such a massive advantage over everyone in my class because no one was reading this stuff. Like they just weren't. They were coming in and saying really stupid things, and with all due respect, if you're going to be paying this much for an education, for God's sake, take advantage of it. Like, it's so expensive. Like, read what they tell you to do. It's so easy peasy in terms of like, you don't have to work for it. You just have to like use the resources. They list it down for you. And I got so much more out of lectures and seminars, and the amount of times that certain random people would come up to me afterwards going, sorry, can I ask, you talked about this in the lecture, I don't know where you got that information from. I was like, from the thing they told us to read. Like, they came to me as if I had like secret information, and I was like, no, it was on the reading list. Read the reading list in full. Don't skim. Read it all. That's the only way you can get the benefit out of a literature degree. What do I think of the Divine Comedy? It doesn't count as a classic. Because it's poetry, I haven't included it in the classics, but technically it would be classics. I mean, ironically, Oxford World Classics publish it under the classics department. But obviously I did a whole series on the Divine Comedy. I only got to Lust, I think it was the last one. Or was it Sloth? I'm going to continue the Divine Comedy series, but I'm going to make the final lot into one big video because the individual videos weren't doing very well. So I'm going to put all the 6 remaining Circles of Hell into a single video. YC, sorry, I need to check out Alan de Botton. You could search The School of Life. That's his YouTube channel. He's known for that. What was the book I read of his and I really didn't like it? It was about love. It was really, really bad. And I wasn't sure if he was meant to be satirical or not, but he was kind of like a crazy person in it. I was like, if this is actually a biography, you are not a healthy person to be around. If it's satirical, it's not done satirically enough. Oh dear. There's lots of teens on the beach sometimes. They make a lot of noise. It's so funny. Teens sell drugs. We all know that sometimes. So we have people who sell drugs nearby. And that's fine. They're selling drugs. Do your thing. You make a load of noise. And ironically, that the police come for. Why make a load of noise if you're doing drugs? They blast their horns, they blast their music in 1:45 in the morning, 11:30 at night. People then phone the police because you're being antisocial. If you're going to do a crime, be quiet about it. Don't make a crime more obvious. No one's going to pay attention to you for doing it quiet. I'm just really? It is quite funny to watch because they think they're being really stealth and they do really weird things when they drive their cars in particular patterns. I'm it's really obvious you're up to no good. Just be subtle about it. I think they all think they're being I don't know, Dexter or something. They're all doing this weird thing. I'm just be quiet. If you're going to sell drugs, just be quiet. Don't blast your horn, please, or make loud noises with your cars. Tulsi said, can you tell us about your reading habits in general? How much time do you spend reading a day? Do you read multiple things at once? I know you talk about putting things down regularly. So I basically only read a day, but I feel like I don't read very productively in terms of my Goodreads looks crap. If you look at my Goodreads, it's she's read 25 books this year. I don't read books from cover to cover, but basically all I do is sit here all day and read. So it's I have an idea for something, I need to read about it, and I didn't have enough information on it. I was well, maybe that video won't work because I need this book and I don't have access to this book and I don't have time to go to the library to get that book. So I'm constantly reading articles, academic articles, or just reading about something, and yeah, I'm just basically always browsing my books. I'm browsing something to see if it's useful. I'm browsing this and reading this. None of it ever becomes a contingent medium that I can then say, oh, I finished a book today. I tend to have a lot of books on the go. So I have an audiobook on the go, usually, always. At the moment it's by Ian Mortimer, and it's it's about the medieval, but I don't know the exact title of it. But it's Ian Mortimer's medieval. I think it's something along the lines of why the medieval times matter. Because his argument is that people overlook the medieval people and kind of dismiss them as not really relevant in history. I actually haven't heard that take. I didn't think people did take the medieval people not very seriously. But it's a really interesting text. And then I'm also reading, so I started reading what I thought was the first time I was ever reading it, Dostoevsky's From the Underground, Notes from Underground. And I started reading it, and then I went to update it on Goodreads and found out that I had already read this book in October 2022. No recollection of it, because it's bonkers. I don't even remember having this experience of going, this book makes no sense, I don't understand what's happening. So I gave up on it, and then I ordered a different translation, which just arrived today. So I'm going to reread it as a different translation. I was reading a woman's translation of it. I think it's CG are her initials, from what I can remember off the top of my head. Now I've got a different translator by Penguin Classics. Don't know his name, but I read on Reddit that he's a quite popular one. Absolutely, I'll go for that. So I'll see if I enjoy it now. So I didn't finish the book. I got halfway through and I was like, I don't like this, but maybe it's a translation. I got a new translation. And then I constantly reread the same stuff for my PhD. So if I'm reading, I reread the same articles over and over again. I keep going back to the same text over and over and over again that I'm writing notes on. So I don't really feel like I'm a bit in like Groundhog Day, where I'm not reading anything different. I was reading, ironically, Alain de Botton's confidence workbook there. About, I wanted to go through the confidence book, but I put that aside. I went on travels, I didn't have time to carry it. I was reading the Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs when I went away, really interesting. I'm always just picking up bits, and sometimes I'll leave a book for like 6 months, but because I remember where I was, I can pick it up again. But it makes me incredibly unproductive as a reader, because everyone's like, well, you didn't read much, did you? And I was like, I'm always reading, I'm not doing anything else. It's just, I'm a bit of a funny duddy when it comes to just, maybe it's just ADHD. My brain goes in different directions. I'm like, oh, now I'm reading this. Oh, now I'm looking at this. Oh, now I'm reading that. And it's just a bit, wherever my brain goes, I read about it. I don't really do anything but it could be online. It could be like online magazines. I've got a lot of magazines as well. I have the Paris Review at the moment. I have History Magazine. I have the London Review of Books. Again, all this kind of stuff doesn't add up to a book that I'm reading. It's just things I'm always browsing and reading about. I'm a terribly messy reader, which is why I am so unproductive and unsuccessful in life. Do not follow my lead. Have you watched the fan-made movie When Nietzsche Wept? I've never heard of it. I've got the book of When Nietzsche Wept, but I've never heard of a fan-made movie of it. Like, at all. I had no idea that's a thing. I have the book. Haven't read the book. I'm pretty sure it's just like right here. Like, I think it's just there. Started my dissertation in September. Well, good luck, Si. Do you have any tips? Mainly for organising research. Sky, this is my biggest issue. As someone now who did 4 years of her PhD and took a break, I would say that organising research is entirely subjective and only you will know how to do it. But I have now learned that there's no such thing for me. There is no such thing for me to organise research. I research as I write, and that is all I can do. I have no way of keeping notes. It's not possible for me. I lose it. I'll have them digitally. I'll have them written down. I joined recently a PhD group, which is led by an ex-professor, and she was basically saying that the notes you take, she was like, you can take notes as you're reading, but basically they should be able to be thrown out at the end of the day. And I now agree with her, because I would say the most useful way of taking notes is just summarising a little bit about what this paper, so say you read a paper and you go, this paper covered these topics, bullet point, just like bullet point, this topic, move on in a notebook. Because the most effective way of researching for me is to reread it again. So say I come to a topic, I'm like, oh, I need to read about weaving history again. What was that? Anne Bergen, what does she say? Let me look. And I go back to the original source. I don't trust my notes on the matter, quite frankly. So now I've learned my notes can't be really trusted because they don't really always make sense. The original text has more information. Just organise the digital files really well, and when you read them, take some notes in the margins, and basically you can highlight what's interesting to you. I basically made the biggest error of doing 4 years of trying to take really detailed notes, and it's all fucking waste of time. That's my personal take. Other people would be different. To me, I would research as I write. You look up something that you need to write about right now, look it up, start writing that up in detail, look up more research about it, start writing that up, and then you can use this body that you've already written into another format. But basically I would write lit reviews as you go along, rather than taking notes. It's a fucking waste of time, with all due respect. My apologies, my language, but that's probably my biggest regret, is trying to take detailed notes. So everyone's different. Some people really thrive off it, lots of notes. Nothing beats the original text to me. and you don't need to take notes on it. It's already there. Like, people copy out notes. They copy them out. They're like, oh, this paragraph says this and this. Why? It's right there. You have it written down in front of you. Like, make it into your own thing. Why are you writing it out by hand all over again? You already have a copy of the material right there in the same text. Just highlight it and move on. Like, it's just pointless. Oh no, Nico, you got banned from Instagram, but I do have Blue Sky. Follow me on. It's just my name on Blue Sky. I'm over on Blue Sky. I don't say very interesting things. Everly says, have you ever read R.F. Kuang, Asana Panyu, Wong Katabasis? You don't want to hear my opinions on R.F. Kuang. Not her personally, but I read Babel, and it is my most scathing book review I've ever written. And it's also my most popular book review. I think over like 500 people have liked that book review that I wrote, basically ripping Babel apart. I have no interest in talking about Catabasis at all, reading it, sorry. She's not my style of writer. She's probably lovely. I just found it not my kind of writing. Obviously she's an incredibly intelligent person, but her writing comes across as she doesn't trust her readers to be intelligent enough to get it. So she kind of spoon feeds everything to you. Like, I get it. I'm not dumb. I'm not 11 years old. You're not being that clever. Like, I can see it. You didn't have to. It's like when someone like dissects the frog in front of you, and I'm like, well, now the frog is dead. I could see it was a frog before. You didn't have to dissect it and then show it me, okay? I knew it was a frog, okay? I'm not that dumb. And I feel like that kind of attitude comes across in her writing, and I'm like, ugh, not really my style. Daniel says, has any non-European or US that caught your eye? I think I remember you seeing a video of Fanon. Do you mean writers? There hasn't been any do you mean just writers in general? Sorry, I see the rest of that question, I think. Because lots of, who would I say that I read the most of? Now we've taken out all European, and I mainly read European translations, not going to lie. I mean, Ben Okri, I love, but then he's British. Obviously he writes a lot in Nigerian, but Ben Okri I loved. So I'm not a massive fan of, like, Japanese authors are coming in big right now. I haven't read any of the newest releases. Hold on, let me go get one. This is I believe this is translated by, let me just make sure. Yes. So these are my two latest translated fictions that have caught my eye, and I've never heard of the authors before. You may have known them. So I've got Yu Hua, called The City of Fiction. I believe this is translated by Todd Foley from Chinese. And then Lexicon of Affinities by Ida Vitale, or Vital, from Uruguay. So these are my two latest non-translated fiction texts I'm curious about, because I've never read any from these areas, and I'm not familiar with either of these authors. So I'm trying to break out of European translations. I tend to stick to them. Oh, I just saw that my dog got up when I stood up to the IC replay. But has anyone really caught my eye outside of Europe? I'm a big simp for German fiction, so I tend to always go towards German fiction. I don't know why. But then, no, did it crash? Did the stream just crash? Crash stream. Oh, hopefully that came back. YouTube crashed. Let's see. Yes. Did I come back? Am I back? Am I back? It's still rolling. Was there a crash for you guys? Did it like suddenly jump randomly? Because YouTube just shut down on me and reopened again. Okay. I can see some people going, no, as if it had crashed. It's fine on your end. Okay, there was a weird jump. To be fair, there was a massive lag. So I think something was going wrong with YouTube's end there. But I'm good. I'm back. Thank you so much. Did I show my little books that I went over for? Basically, just in case did these show up? You'll tell me if they didn't. These are books I was talking about. Oh, there's no crash for you guys. That's really weird. I wonder why I did that. I'll go back up. Meow. Jeremiah, I just saw you send me $5. Thank you so much. Well, that's annoying, isn't it? Because it crashed. It's taken me out of where I was with the question. So apologies if your question never got seen, because it now won't let me go any higher. So Nick Rhodes said, the most evocative interaction with Greek classic was listening to The Alchemist reading, a chapter of to an alchemist reading of a chapter of the Iliad beside a forge in the Welsh hillside. Damn, that's amazing. Oh, Dinah says, your video about libraries inspired me to sign up for my local library. Local council owed. No, sorry, sign up to a local council owed one instead of constantly hunting more. That's awesome. I mean, sometimes libraries don't they don't have, like, again, I wouldn't have bought a different translation of Dostoevsky, Notes from Underground, but because they didn't have the translation that I was looking for at all, they had the same translator. I was like, well, now I need to buy a copy, because sadly it's not there. Oh, go down. Yes, I know Measure for Measure by Shakespeare, Lenny. Eric's the same as me, wouldn't recommend Dracula. Why is that such a popular book? I thought it was awful. Maybe it was just very terrifying at the time, but I swear people who say it's a good book now are lying. I mean, I'm just being cheeky, but I was just like, the ending is so bad. I was like, really? I built up all of that for that payoff? Really? I was not happy about Dracula at all. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything massive. I'm so far behind. I'm so sorry. Yes, Dinah asked about my necklace. I'm afraid I don't know. My partner Jake bought me this necklace for our anniversary. So I'm afraid I don't know where he got it from. I can ask him. But I think he got it from Etsy, to be honest. I think if you search Amphora necklace on Etsy, you'll probably find it. I don't think it's from a shop or anything. Oh, Jeremiah, you said, my family is passionately Catholic. What's your thoughts on Disney's Hercules? Hopefully I've already answered that question whilst you were here. I did talk extensively already about how I love the Disney's Hercules. I think it's amazing. So Shadow asks, if I may ask, do you still think about learning to ride a motorbike? I do, but my partner no longer is. So the only reason I was going to learn a motorbike was to do it with my partner. But I would like to learn how to ride a motorbike so I can ride a moped. I'd rather have a moped in my life. I don't drive at all. But if I were to drive, I'd like to have a moped so I can get around easier. I feel like it would be less environmentally unfriendly. But if I can tootle back and forth to the libraries in a moped, that'd be great. So I would do it to learn how to ride that. I'm so far behind. I'm so sorry. I'm going around. Everyone's talking about, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, Siren asked, do you consider yourself a polymath? No. No, nowhere near. I'm barely averaging. Narcissistic Penguin so I've been using Obsidian for my masters and I love it. I never lose a note. A lot of people love Obsidian. I've got it on. It just doesn't work for my brain. I think it's probably the best note-taking app in terms of organisation. And it's a fun way of doing it, but I just don't think it works for me. I think I just rather reread and work back and forth with it than take notes, quite honestly. I take notes by hand in a notebook and they're very brief and then I move on. The only time I take detailed notes is if it's a library book and I can't have access to it. Then I take really thorough notes from the library book, because obviously I can't keep going back and forth for it. But yeah, it's, if I have access to an article or something like that, I don't bother with detailed notes. Do you think it'd be nice to see other works by writers that were contemporaries of Shakespeare? Absolutely, I think there's some awesome plays out there. I mean, I'm a massive fan of Shakespeare, so I'm never going to complain about too much Shakespeare. But all plays, to be quite frank. I think people should see more plays. I'm not a massive fan of reading plays, except for Shakespeare plays, because I feel like Shakespeare plays are thick enough to read. A lot of plays, modern plays like this and they don't have as much with the word play that you can see in text that you miss when you're watching a Shakespeare play. So that's why I like reading Shakespeare plays more than other plays, because going to see plays in general is awesome. Josh says, I'm taking a course in Celtic Britain and was curious about further readings on the subject. I'm afraid I am not qualified to give reading. I know very little about Celtic Britain. I'm afraid I'm not familiar, but hopefully there may be someone in the chat. If you have, please give Josh Enyart your recommendations for Celtic Britain readings. Make sure I get the Shakespeare animated tales based on his plays is available on YouTube and worth a watch. I've never heard of that. That's adorable. I didn't know there was such a thing. Oh yes, I've caught up. Yes, I did it. I've caught up to the crash. No, it just jumped again. Bugger you. YouTube's such a bad platform for streaming on. It's so hard to keep in contact with the chat. Fine, everyone, welcome back. German fiction recommendation. Any German fiction recommendations? Haven't read German fiction since school. I mean, let me get my German things up. Let me get my Goodreads up so I can give you all my... So, I love Steppenwolf by Hermann Hesse. Is it Germans in the chat? Is it Hermann Hesse or Hermann Hesse? Like, how do I say that? I never really know. I've always said Hermann Hesse, but then I'm not sure if it's Hermann Hesse. I also love, where's my Goodreads? The Tin Drum. If you haven't read The Tin Drum, I really enjoyed that. I really want to read The Glass Bead Game. But I always enjoyed everything but mainly Steppenwolf. You know what though, I can't say it. Shiderata? I can never say it. Hermann Hesse Shiderata. I wasn't a massive fan of that. I think everyone built it up like so crazy to me, and I was like, oh, okay. And also Thomas Mann, though I wasn't a massive fan of the Magic Mountain. I think I built it up so much in my head that when I came to it, I was like, oh, actually, I think I oversold it to myself, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But still, loves writing. Thank you, Lex, for saying my glasses are cute. I'm really questioning, but what are you talking about? Have you read any Argentine writers? I must have done. See, I'm really bad at knowing where the writers are from. Like, I'm really bad. I don't pay attention, which is really, really bad. If a book sounds interesting, I pick it up and read it. So let me see if I have on my Goodreads. Of course, Borges. No, wait. Hello, can people tell me how to say this? Because I remember years ago, people telling me that I was saying his name incorrectly. And Lispector. But and then he was like, they wrote it out really big capital letters and they said it as Borges. But then recently I said it and everyone was like, it's not Borges. How dare you pronounce it that way? Can someone please tell me how I say his surname? Because people keep telling me differently and it's really throwing me off. Cortázar, I read Julio Cortázar's work. Is Cesar Era? Is he Argentinian? Cesar Era. I read him. Yes, he is. I think that's it. I'm looking at my Goodreads. I can't see anyone else that is jumping up to me as giving me an Argentinian name. But if someone can tell me, please. Well, if it's spelled Hesse, yes, it's an E sound in German. The E is, so it's Hesse. Okay, so it is. It is Borges, like I said. Stop. When I last did my last video on Borges, I said it like that. And they were like, how dare you say it like he's got a French accent? I was like, I didn't think I said it like a French accent. Like, I saw like a really big comment about how I disgraced his name. Like, I was really impassioned, angry. So for someone to say that right now. But I remember years ago when I mentioned him and people saying like, it's spelled like this. And I went, okay, it's Borges. Like an H-y sound. I didn't know how else to say it. But I was like, thank you for saying it. The Spectre is Brazilian, I think. Okay, Brazilian? I've read Brazilian. But if Caesar Aero... Is Caesar Aero? Did I check him? Did I check if he... Yeah, wasn't he? Yes. I think they're the only ones that I can recognise on my Goodreads right now that look as though they are. So not many. If there's any recommendations, please let me know. But yeah, I am really bad at knowing where the texts are from. Some obviously have an obvious name. Like, some have an obvious Italian name. Some have a really obvious German name. But otherwise, I don't know. It's just like, I can tell where some people are from, but then I don't know where other people are from. It is really bad. Sorry, my painful hiccups are back. Oh no. Or is it Olga Tokarczuk? Is that how I pronounce Olga Tokarczuk? I love Olga Tokarczuk. She's amazing. Is it Tokarczuk? I'm really bad with her surname. I'm so sorry, but I love her. I love her. But I haven't read the Empsium yet. Empusium. How do I say that? But I loved... Yeah, basically, I read all of... Otherwise, have I got it yet? Maybe. It's on my to-wish list kind of thing. Elysium's saying, like, I'm trying so hard to find your review of Babel. It's like... I wonder if there's a quick way of finding it on Goodreads. Because whenever I open Goodreads, it takes me straight to my page of Babel. Because it's clearly the most, like, common search that I've ever done. I can't really share. Can I share my own review on Babel? It's such a long review, people. It's so long. I can't share it. That's a shame. You should be able to, like, click share my review. It's very extensive. For some reason it says I wrote it on the 15th of August this year, which is today, which is not true. I read it a long time ago. I think, certainly a few years ago. Why does it say why is Goodreads so weird? Why does it do that? Why does it say things that is not true? I read it at least 2 years ago, I swear. And now it's a running joke that Jake's like, I just had a really good book. I think it's called a book called Babel. I'm like, bugger off. He's always making that joke. Upload says, hello Chinsil, congrats on 250,000 subscribers. What language do you speak? I really don't speak any. I can read Latin primitively. I'm very scared to say that, because when you say, oh, I read Latin, in the PhD world, they will just start writing to you in Latin, like, because they do it for a living. So you feel like a bloody pillock for saying that you read Latin when people are like doing it all the time, doing translation work. But I did it until advanced level at university. So I did beginners, intermediate and advanced Latin. So I can read it pretty damn well, but obviously I don't speak it. But I wouldn't say I'm fluent, because again, I work with people who literally do it for their studies, and you just sound like an idiot if you say you do it. And I can't speak French very well. If someone was speaking to me in French, I really struggle to understand what they're saying. But I can read it really well, which just sounds really stupid. If I have time to dissect the grammar, I can read academic papers in French, but don't ask me to string a sentence together on the spot. Like, on the spot, I can't help myself. And I know very, very primitive amounts of Japanese, but again, only conversational. Just like if I were in Japan randomly one day, I could probably get around, and I can read some kanji, but that's it. But I basically can't do anything. I Basically, if you put me in a foreign country, I'm unfortunately the stereotype of a British person who's completely bloody useless and can't do anything right. I'm the stereotype of that person. Have I read The Third Twin by Ken Follett? I have not. He's a fantasy writer, isn't he, Ken Follett? I haven't read anything by Ken Follett. Oh god, that's a big question. Which is the best library in the world, in your opinion? And what are components of a brilliant library, in your opinion? Well, I mean, I haven't been to most libraries in the world, because obviously I'm not a citizen of a lot of them, so I haven't actually seen the library and used the library. So I can't say what the best library is in the world, because I don't know what their resources are. I don't know what their staff is like. I'm very, very pedantic about this. My favourite library that I've ever used was the old Birmingham University Library. I really loved the new Birmingham Library. I just don't get the same vibes in Scotland. Their National Library is very, very useful. I just don't get the coziness of working in the libraries in Scotland. I think that's why I'm so nostalgic for Birmingham, because I think their libraries are superior, which pains me to say. I think the university library is very good at Birmingham, and the central library, the new central library at Birmingham, is really, really good. They have egg chairs, so you can sit in a big egg chair, which I did for hours. I would line up at opening hour at the Birmingham Library just so I can go down to the basement to take an egg chair, and I would sit in that all day. I wouldn't leave the egg chair until like 4 p.m, but I'd be there at opening to go out. So yeah, I really like their libraries, but I haven't been to many. I haven't used many libraries. Like, I haven't used any libraries in most of the counties in England, let alone around the world. So I can't really say. I judge a library not based on its aesthetics, but based on its practicalities, like based on its usage, how good it feels to be there. As someone, I've been to the British Library, but I haven't used the British Library, 'cause I don't live near London. So I haven't signed up to the British Library. I haven't, never used it. So I don't know how good of a library it is as a library user. But I think those are the components that I would class as a good library. So I can't judge it, sadly. I can't judge them. Oh, thank you. Shadow giving me recommendations for an electric moped. Former is very eco-friendly. Oh, thank you so much. I like to do an eco-friendly moped. Oh, let me read the comment without blocking it. Thank you. Well, oh, Poopison. Why does it do that? What do you think of? What do you think about the idea of exploring non-European authors? You probably have some authors that explored the topic. I mean, I'm not opposed to it at all. I think what's struck me sadly is because I'm very much currently stuck in PhD mode. I kind of get stuck there. The authors I study have to be of English or American background based on the confines of my research. You can't go out of that. So I'm not against it at all. I love, basically, translated fiction section is my go-to area. And that's where I would say a lot. I mean, I have a whole bookcase of just translated fiction. So I'm not against it at all. So I'm so behind on questions, but I didn't want people to miss people. Didn't want to miss people. Thank you. Is it GLD? For thank you so much. Any book recommendations on Athena? I really don't have any recommendations on just the goddess, I'm afraid. Ironically, there is it's a children's book. It's a picture book of Athena. I think it's just called Athena, the Goddess of Wisdom. It's a big, fat children's book. It's actually quite a good one for kids. It's really interesting in how it's illustrated and what it discusses. It's not that dumbed down. But I don't have any books only on Athena. Books which will reference Athena. Mythica by Emily Hauser just came out, and she covers a lot of decent stuff in there. trying to think. I'm trying to look at my own bookshelves to see if I'm missing any of that coming out of my head. Yeah, I say Mythica's pretty solid because she's pretty up to date with that. And there's also a new Natalie Haynes book, Goddesses. I haven't read the Athena section, but I like Natalie Haynes's work. So she's just written. It's called Divine Might. Divine Might. The dog bed is literally blocking the second word. So Natalie Haynes' Divine Might and Mythica by Emily Hauser, I think, are the kind of new accessible ones that cover Athena, but it's not obviously exclusively about Athena. Hello, Johnny Holy Freak. How are you? He is in Buenos Aires. Isn't Joni? Sorry, Joni, not Johnny. I always say Johnny. I don't know why. Hello, Marty. Sorry if you've gone already. We said you popped in to say congratulations. Thank you so much. Any thoughts on Albanian and Dalmatian writers? Not the dog. Let me see. I'm not sure if I can. Let me see. Because I'm not familiar. Have I read any? That's really funny. Does it really actually bring me up as that? If you search Dalmatian writers, you get Dodie Smith. Because of the dog. So stupid. Let me see if I read any Albanian writers. Looking at like a list of to see if I recognise any. I don't think I have. I genuinely don't think I have. Are there any recommendations you would give me on Albanian or Dalmatian writers? That's so funny. It gives me Dodie authors. I don't recognise any of their names. No, I don't think I have. I don't think I've read any, so I have no opinions on either. Borges. And then Cortázar is the stress on the ta. Cortázar. Is that right, Jose? Thank you for telling me. Borges and Cortázar. Is that right? Am I closer? I'm not right. I know I'm not right, but closer. T-Day said, unable to watch live stream with congratulations. They won't hear me, but thank you so much, T-Day. T-Day. Why am I so dyslexic? Sometimes I'm like, why am I so dyslexic? Did I miss anything? Tea Leaf, have you read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies? I love it so much. I have not. My friend sent it me for my birthday last year, and I haven't read it, I'm afraid. Again, I don't read for fun anymore. It's all work. I need to try and carve out time to read for fun. Because it is affecting my writing. It is affecting my production of YouTube videos. Because really, I need to be more open-minded. Because I've become so narrow-minded in terms of everything I'm reading is very much specific to this. My video qualities are going down because I'm like so much in my own head with uninteresting stuff. So my apologies. I should read more fun things and talk about them. Because that sounds like it looks very cute. Oh, Elysium says I need to find some good resources to learn Latin. I can tell you what I studied. So my Latin books were, let me try, they're so faded. Let me try and see them. Jones and Sidwell. So the Latin books that I was given, well not given, I was told to read at university are Jones and Sidwell. Sidwell. There's two books. There's like the exercise book and the reading book. One is much larger than the other, like quite comically so. And they're the only two books that I actually really use. I've got more Latin books up there, like, you know, Latin plus dictionary, and I've got Winnie the Pooh. I have Winnie the Pooh in Latin. But the Jones and Sidwell were the two books that I actually found really, 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 really good and actually really fun to do. So that's what I learned from that. Everly said, did you ever read Susanna Clarke? I haven't read Jonathan and Mrs. Strange. I did read Piranesi. Maybe I'm just weird. I really didn't like it. I thought it was just a bit meh. But I am in the minority because everyone loves that book. Like everyone I talk to says like it's one of my favourite books of all time. And I was like, I was like a bit meh. Like I felt like there needed to be more. But maybe this is where my lack of imagination comes in. Certain books I feel like require an imagination and I just completely miss out as the boring brained person that I am. No, we jumped. No, stop jumping. Dragon Man, peace out. Thank you so much. Have you? So I haven't read any Ken Follett. I'm sorry. I haven't read any Ken Follett at all. Do I visit the library in Arabot? I mean, I haven't ever been to an Arab country at all. I would visit a library in an Arab country, but I've never, ever been, sadly. I'm not well-travelled at all. Liz, I just saw you said, we'll get you an egg chair. Why can't I have an egg chair all the time, Liz? Why? There's no space for an egg chair. I just want an egg chair all the time. I mean, I do joke with my partner Jake how much I just want a little egg chair. That's all I want. Just a really big egg chair. These were like the proper 70s egg chairs. They were big white plastic with a red inside. Ugly as hell. The comfiest things I've ever sat in. It's like I was just there. Every morning I was on the train to go and sit in the egg chair. Don't. So Shannon saying, can I just say that people writing in Latin has the same energy as people on forums talking in game language? Don't get me started, Shadow. Don't get me started. Don't. There was one person back in the day I was on dating apps, wrote to me in Latin, I just immediately unmatched. It's like I'm not. And then they chased me down on social media to ask me why I unmatched them. I was like, that's why I knew because you're that person. It's like, I'm not. It's too pretentious. You start writing and talking to me in Latin, I'm like, no. Honestly, we always joke, most of us most of the people I know in classics do not date fellow classicists. You don't touch them. We don't want other people in our field because it's really annoying. I just stay away from people like that. And the same with friends. That's why we can't be friends with people, because we're all like, no, stop. Hello Tex, thank you so much for $5. Thank you so much, I really appreciate it. I just saw it. Sorry, jumped again. Have I read Educated by Tara Westover? Such a good book. I haven't. Isn't that what the film's based on? Is that what the film's based on, starring Carey Mulligan? Carey Mulligan and Education? Or is that a different book entirely? I know that's based on a book. It's not based on a book. Is that a lie? Did I just lie? No, it's by a different memoir. It's by Lynn Barber. And yours was by... No, Tara Westover. Okay, I've been getting that confused in my head, because when I see an Education, or Educated, by Tara, I think it's the person who wrote the book that film is based on. So no, I have not read that, because I kind of overlooked it thinking it was that book. This is why you can't have books too similar in name, because they get mixed up, particularly when one's kind of like a famous film adaptation. But Educated by Tara Well. I've definitely seen that, haven't I? Let me just see. Educated Tara. Type. Educated Tara. Oh yeah, I've seen that. It only came out in 2018. I suppose it's American, that's why it's slightly different. That's why she's probably got the same title as the British one. But that's why it's probably clashing in our heads in Britain, and we just keep ignoring it, thinking, oh, that's an old book. And we know the film. So I completely overlooked it. Narmora said I would recommend The Bridge on the Dark. I read that. Wait, who is that? I've read that. Who are they? Are they Yugoslavian? I have read that. For once in my life, I'm like, oh yes. But are they Croatian, but Austrian occupied Bosnia? See again. I know the book. I read the book. It is fantastic. But I had no idea where the author was from. I'm so bad at knowing where people are from based on their names. I just can't pick it up. So yes, for once I actually have read that. I do love that. Who wrote the Tartar Steps as well? Are they the Tartar Steps? The Tartar Step? Dino Dino Buzzati. Is that Italian? That's Italian. I'm afraid that's back to being European, isn't it? That was good as well. I do love a lot of... No, I didn't realise that he was a Nobel Prize laureate in the same year as Tolkien. I had no idea. Never knew that at all. But yes, that is a fantastic text. Patrico asked if it was a hanging egg chair or a pedestal one. It was a pedestal one, so it wasn't hanging, thank God, because I would just be swinging all over the library. No, it was like a big heavy one, and I really bloody love it. Everyone's like saying, "I'll donate an egg chair." That's hilarious. I was like, all the egg chairs coming to me. If you never get to have a chance to sit in an egg chair, take it. It's just like, there's a really funny photograph of me just sitting in the egg chair really happy, and I was like so young. I was like, I'm so happy in this egg chair. It's ugly as hell. I love it. Our tea leaf had to go, but thank you so much, tea leaf, for being here. May says, I was in an egg chair, I did my internship. I was only looking forward to it every morning. I know, it's so good. Everyone buy an egg chair if you have the space. Everyone have sorry, there's an audio book of Stephen Fry as Pooh Bear. There's a Pooh Bear stories audio narrated by Stephen Fry. I had no idea. Pooh. Is he Pooh? No, I had no idea. I suppose it was 2002, so I would have been a bit old for the Pooh Bears in audiobook format. But I do love Winnie the Pooh. I've got a lot of Winnie the Pooh stuff hidden around the house in different areas. Disabled dimes, there's a reason we are discouraged from using jargon in writing, as it's similar to why using gaming language, it's faux pas. It helps no one but makes you look like a pretentious body. Yes, exactly. It's one of those things, isn't it? Obviously, in academic writing, sometimes absolutely fine. Obviously, you have to show as pretentious as you are. I'm not one of those writers because I'm not clever enough to even know how to be pretentious in writing, because happy funny. So he's a Serbian. Do I have any French language book recommendations? No, I don't have any French books at all. I'm afraid all the French that I know was learned at university and learned at school. I don't have any textbooks anymore for the French language. So it's all, because I do crash course at university at the beginning of my PhD. I chose French to do a crash course in. And that's how I found out. It was funny because everyone says I can speak French really well if I'm reading. So apparently I struggle with English language. I make mistakes. Apparently I'm very good at reading French out loud. Do I have a clue of what I'm saying? Absolutely not. But apparently I have a really good French accent and I can read it really well. So I could narrate French audiobooks. I'd have no idea what I was saying, but apparently I can read it really well. So which makes it, when I'm reading it, I can just pick it up as I go along. But I think it's just based on they made us learn French from the age of 6 here, and it just kind of eventually rubbed into me. But I'm still not good enough, considering the British taught me how to speak French since the age of 6. British education system, particularly around language, is dog poo. And they just don't care. They just don't care because they're so arrogant that everyone will speak English. So therefore we struggle. I hate it. I hate this attitude. But unfortunately, because they don't teach us correctly, other countries teach languages better than we do. They know how to teach English correctly. They know how to teach other languages, which is why you're all like amazing at learning different languages. That for some reason they're just really crap at it here. I have no idea why. So when you meet people who are English, who speak multiple languages, they're kind of like amazing. You're like, wow. But here, no. But yeah, I could read an audiobook in French, and that's it. But I'm afraid I have no books. There's no language books up there at all on French. It's all just from I learned it crash course at uni and at school. Shadow went, hey, I quite like being pretentious and arrogant sometimes. I like when people own it. Ms. Marion, hello, thank you for joining the stream. Doesn't matter if you're late or not, it's absolutely fine. Namora, is it Andrik? How do I pronounce his surname? Is it Andrik or Andrik, or or Andrik? Like, is there a eek like a French, or is it ick? I would like to know, please, if that's okay. I don't want to keep saying his name all correctly. Liz just said about the egg chairs. We need a special bird that lays them. That sounds like a D&D mission, where it's like a big bird that lays egg chairs. Probably already asked this, but have you read the Dune series? I'm currently almost done with the Children of Dune. No, I have not. Isn't that a stupid word? Because whenever I say Dune, it sounds like I'm saying it like a bit of a Scottish accent. I go Dune, and it just sounds like I'm saying June, but in a Scottish accent. But when I say Dune, it just sounds like I'm saying June, like a June. I'm saying like the month June. But if I say Dune, I sound like I'm saying you know, sometimes I slip into imitating someone who speaks to me, and it's really embarrassing, particularly in Scotland, because obviously I can't do a Scottish accent, despite living here for 11 years now. And when I was working with someone once, he went like, Tuesday, where's the buke? And I went, what buke? And I didn't mean to like say buke back, but then sometimes I just pick up things that I then imitate, and I don't know how to unsay it. So bless him. I wish I could do a Scottish accent. I can't even do it remotely. I've picked up some random slang. Like, I'll say we or weans. Like, that's all I'll ever say. Or I. So now I say I to everything. So if you say, like, do you need something? I'm like, I. Like, all the time. And Jake thinks it's... But then what's funny is, I used to say ja. I used to be around someone who used to, like, I don't know if they had German heritage, but they always used to say ja. So I'd say ja. I picked up ja. And then when I worked with Scots people, like this, I had a Scottish boss, and he was like I, and I go I. So then, but then I worked with someone who was German, and she went aha ja I, and then I just picked up the I end. So I lost my ja, and I got the I. So I went from ja to I. It's so much easier to say I here. Like, it's so much faster than saying yes. Like, I is so much faster than saying yes. Oh, I just saw YC saying, Eric, you remind me of my army dad. Well, Eric is ex-army. That's fantastic. It was like, it's in the vibe. Have I read Mircea Eliade? I hope I said that correctly. I don't recognise the name. Allow me to Google it. Mircea Eliade. No, I haven't read anything. I've never even... Don't think so. I've seen The Myth, The Eternal Return. I've seen that book, but I've never read it. No, I don't think I've read any of their work at all, I'm afraid. Shadow, like, French audiobook idea. No, because the French would kill me, because I'll say it all. Knowing my luck, I'm like, I got complimented by my French teacher by how well I can read French out loud. Probably the French will kill me. No way, Elysium said, for those of you with a library card, check out your library's digital resources. My local library in Colorado has free access to the Rosetta Stone and other... That's actually really impressive. I don't think any of our libraries... Liz, do our libraries have free access to Rosetta Stone? Because I don't think so. I don't think I've heard that before. That's really impressive. Oh, Russell, subscribe to your channel. Thank you. I don't remember how many years ago. Antisocial, so I never comment. Thank you so much. I am also antisocial and never comment on other people's channels, so I completely relate. Very rarely do I comment on people's channels. Liz, you're so funny. I just like saw your comment going, I got into the stage where World War II footage is playing in my head. I was like, context. I was like, context, where was that? Bye, Liz. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, Elverta. Thank you for joining. So appreciate it. Oh no. Namora's telling me that it's really complicated to say his name. So, C is a separate sound specific to Serbian, Bosnian and Croatian. The closest pronunciation to you would probably be something in the last sound of Shostavok. Shostakovich. So, Andrich. What's his name? I've forgotten his name now. I was like, wait. I was right there. So like is it Andrich? Andrich? Is that closer? I was like, Liz like, I don't fucking know. I've never looked at the Rosetta Stone. I don't know. You're also here. I had higher expectations of you, Liz. How dare you? I did it right on Twitch. Okay, so it's almost like a sound. Have you read Martyr? I know this. Can you hear them? That's the lovely drug addicts. Not drug addicts, the drug dealers. They honk. Can you hear that? Constant. So it's like, it's 10 o'clock here tonight, for anyone else confused. They do this honking all the time. And I'm like, you're selling drugs. Why are you causing such a scene? just sell your drugs and go away. It's like, but they make a scene, which then gets all the, because I live in an area where it's like mainly older people who live here. Like, they're all retired because they don't need to be anywhere. They're by the sea. So then they're always like, oh, I was in bed at 8 o'clock and they all woke me up at 10. I'm awake to like witness it. But they will call the police on you. And I'm like, well, if you get caught with something, it's your own fault for honking your horn. But if you're out there by yourself, not making a noise, why are you making a big deal out of it? So Martyr I've got the right author, haven't I? Go back up, Martyr. By Kaveh Akbar. You see, it sounded familiar, but I don't recognise it at all. I haven't read it at all. I thought I would recognise the front cover. Is it Kaveh Iranian immigrants? Ooh. I like the sound of this. Sorry, I'm reading the Goodreads page on it. I mean, it sounds sad. Like, it sounds sad. But it also sounds very, very good. Oh, I'll pop that on my list. Jake will be thrilled. Like, I need more books to add to my wish list. I'm always like, oh, look at my wish list. He's like, why is it not getting shorter? Like, since last birthday, since last Valentine's Day, since last Christmas, it just keeps going up. I'm like, I know, but let me just add Martyr. Martyr. Who else has a Waterstones wish list? I have so much on mine. And I recognise the green cover. I recognise it in hardback. I didn't recognise the paperback. That's probably why. I was like, it sounded familiar. I read the title. It sounded like the name of the author sounded familiar. Beck said, I had a neighbour that did the same thing. I didn't know what the drug did. I didn't know it was a drug did for months. Why do they do it? Why do they honk the horns when they're dealing drugs? Like, what I find funny is, because it's like where the cars are parked, the drug dealer doesn't get out of his car. He reverses and goes down the car park and then drives next to the car that they're clearly dealing with. So they deal out the window. But then he reverses back out and then goes back to the original spot. And it's just so wild. Like, why not just tell people to come park next to you? Like, say where you are in the car park. And then people will come and drive next to you. But no, you do this weird, like, game where you go and move. And then sometimes he reverses. And then he's in the back of the car park. It's the same car over and over and over again. It's so funny to see someone be so clumsy with their dealing. That even, like, everyone, we're all just watching, like, it's kind of amusing. But it's like, you're making a scene, so we're all watching you. And we're watching you do this weird thing where you're going around the car park to different cars. And the amount, it must cost them a fortune. I mean, I know they're dealing drugs, so they're probably earning a bit of money. But it must cost them a fortune because they will keep their engine on and their lights on all night. They'll start at like 7 p.m. until 1 in the morning. And I'm like, doesn't that cost you a fortune in petrol to just keep your car running? Well, not petrol, but electricity, just everything. Just like, it's just running, just doing nothing all the time. Your lights are on, you're honking, you're playing loud music, and then you keep driving from space to space. It's like, kind of like a weird, like, ballet. It's like a drug ballet. It's like watching, like, oh, where's he going to go? And sometimes they'll leave the car park and then come back in. Why did you do that? I can see you did that. Why did you do that? I just, maybe they could get like a drink or something from somewhere else and then come back. It's like really quite quick. Hey Jane, hello. Ash says, Martyr is such a good book. Eric, no, the police never show up. The police never show up. And like, we have to, like, we're meant to complain. I feel really like I don't want to phone the police because of noise, even though I know I'm meant to. It just feels like a waste of police time to be like, they're really noisy. It's if they're extensive. There was one time when they were honking continuously for 42 minutes because I counted. And I was like, and it was like probably like 9 cars all honking their horns continuously. And I was like, it's 11:45 at night. And it went on until half 12. And I was just like, this is bonkers. Why are you doing this? But kids will be kids. And that's when a lot of people, I think, phone the police, because it's just kind of excessive. But then they come back, they'll do it again. It's really weird. Hello, Sol. Thank you for joining the stream. I hope you're doing well. I haven't read Yellow Face at all. Because, oh god, Midnight Train said it felt like that book felt like reading an aneurysm. I mean, Babel put me off her writing. I was like, I do not like this person's writing at all. I think it's really badly done. I think the plot was badly done. It felt very much stereotype Gen Z arguments. Again, there's just so many flaws to this book that it could have been a really good book. You have a magic system apparently that relies on language, and that's very much important. Like, language is an important part of the magic system in this book. Yet she employed vocabulary that wasn't available at the time at all. So but it's a historical novel. So it's a historical magical system novel based on language, but you're using language that didn't exist or wasn't employed. And then she kind of openly says, well, I've just kind of used language because I wanted to. And I'm like, okay, but then you can't market it. Pick one lane. One of them has to be consistent. Your magic isn't consistent because the silver thing didn't work either. And then if you're going to be a historical novel and it talks largely about race, I'm like, well, there were people writing about these topics at that period. I think it was set in Victorian period, if I remember correctly. And I was like, people were talking about these topics in a different, like, using different vocabulary. Use that. Why be lazy? Why employ Gen Z language in a Victorian era with a magic system based on language? And then, with all due respect, employed a crap ton of racial stereotypes. Like, throwing a potato at an Irish character in a book that's meant to be criticising racism is just wild to me. And it wasn't even a funny scene. It was just a thing that was done. I'm like, really? You've already got all these people fitting in their stereotype of like, oh, I'm the maths person, I'm the language person. Like, it was already incredibly stereotyped. But then she kept feeding me information as if I was too stupid to understand what she was saying. I was like, no, I know what that means. Like, I know you're anachronistic and you're employing loads of stuff that I know what you mean already, but now you're spelling it out to me as if I'm like 9 years old and I don't understand how linguistics work. And it was just really patronising. And I was like, is this how like people from Oxford and Cambridge see everyone else? It's just like, we're just really bloody dumb and we don't understand linguistics and we don't understand racism and we don't understand this topic. Like, it's just like, it was just really quite astoundingly patronising. And then even when she, like, you sang the book, her characters then explained it to us again. Like, and then suddenly the opium crisis became a thing. I'm like, well, your character just became suddenly this, like, knowledgeable person on the woke version of the opium crisis. It was really bizarre. It was really, really bizarrely done. I was like, there was just too many ideas that was done haphazardly and just kind of lazy. And I was like, I have so many issues with this. When it could have been really good because you had some really cool ideas and they were just executed poorly. Now, I understand she's doing a PhD. Makes total sense. You can tell. In other words, she doesn't have the time to be doing this. You're doing a doctorate. Everything else, one of them has to suffer. And I doubt it's your PhD that's suffering. Your writing did. It was just like, oh god. Sorry. I miss people. Everyone's talking to me. I went, oh, The Book of Disquiet. I have read that too. Fernando Pessoa. So we read a lot of similar books, to be fair. And what was... Oh, I can't remember. I can see the front cover. I can't remember the book. How annoying. Ooh. It'll come back to me. Hello, Lenny. Or was it Leanie? Sorry. Been watching your videos since I just found your channel recently. I have also had Aphantasia. I'm really enjoying your video about reading without imagination. Hi! I'm like, yes, I also don't see anything. I don't see anything. Hello, Eric Carlson. I wanted to move to Scotland and was wondering about midgies. Are they really a thing? They are a thing, but they're more of a Inverness up thing. So midgies are just Inverness up. You don't really get them in the south. Not sure about the west. But again, I would argue that anything level with Inverness upwards is then midgie country. Anything below Inverness is not midgie country. Anyone from Glasgow or anywhere else, Stirling, correct me if I'm wrong, but basically when you hit Inverness, prepare for midgies. But that being said, I travelled Scotland last year with my partner, and we did the North Coast 500, but we technically did 1,000 miles. So it's the North Coast one. We call it the North Coast 5,000, 1,000 instead. And we had midgies, but neither of us got bitten by any. But there were midgies everywhere, but we didn't get bitten by any. We get some midgies in the summer, but very, like, they're kind of scarce. Up there were loads of midgies, but we didn't get bitten, so they weren't a massive pain in the bum for us. Midnight Train said, I actually prefer Donald Tartt's novels. I mean, I hated... What was that book about the drug dealer from Donald Tartt? A Little Friend. I hated that so much. That's probably... It was so shocking because I read Secret History and I really loved it. And then I read A Little Friend. I went, how did she create these two books? They are polar opposites. I can't stand this one and I loved this one. So yeah, she's... And then I liked The Goldfinch, but it wasn't something I recommend to people. It's really weird. Whereas I had recommended The Secret History to other people. So she's kind of hit and miss with me. I think I only like one of her books, I would say. Really liked. Ash, what are your favourite books? So I would say The Complete Cosmic Comics by Italo Calvino, Herman Hesse Steppenwolf, The Moby Dick by Herman Melville. I like Hermans. There's a lot of Hermans in my recommendation. David Copperfield. I really do bloody love David Copperfield. I didn't think I would love it as much as I did. I think it was only last year I read it and I was like, my god, I love this book. Like, I was like, that was great. I really got a lot out of that book. What else would I recommend? It feels like such a long time ago since I had books that I'd recommend, because again, I haven't read books I'd recommend since doing the PhD. Like, it's just, I wouldn't recommend any of the books I read for my PhD. Oh, After Sappho. No, that's a correction. I would. After Sappho, by Selby. What's her surname? Schwartz. In fact, I don't know where she's from either. Where's Selby Schwartz from? Selby Schwartz. She's American. I should have known. Oh, no. Yes, she's American. I wasn't sure she was British then, but I loved After Sappho. It's probably the only PhD book that I recommend to people. And then that's basically what I'd recommend now. I'm trying to think of anything else. No, I can't think of anything else. See, what's the problem is, I've put books that I loved and read at the back of my bookshelves, and I put books I need to read at the front. So a lot of the books that I loved and would recommend are at the back. So I can't see them. Oh, speaking of magic, have you read the Discovery of Witches series? Really good, no sparkly vampires. I haven't read that series at all. Jane, sorry, I just want to say I love your videos. Oh, thank you. Really helped me with my research, my own general knowledge. Thank you. I'm glad to hear it. It always wowed me that a lot of anti-colonial books and people conveniently forget about the Irish. I suppose a lot of people do forget about the Irish, you're right. Like, yeah, you're right. Everyone always really forgets about the Irish. Or like, people, yeah, you're right. People, it's really a shame. Everyone's just like, no, we will go outside the way. And Ireland's like, hello. We are also victims. Just because we're attached to a bit of it doesn't mean that we should also be included in shunning them, please. That's how I felt about, Elysium said how I felt about Fourth Wing. I had a friend who was obsessed and really and I really tried, but it just felt really modern for a fantasy. So funny. So I remember when Fourth Wing came out. Obviously, I don't read fantasy, and it looks like it's YA. Could be wrong, but it's borderlining, I think, YA. And one of the booksellers that I went to the bookshop that I visited quite recently, like regularly, came in and they were like, Chinzia, could you read this? And I went, I'm not reading that, I don't like fantasy. And he was like, damn it, I wanted you to have an angry rant about it, because they know that when I don't like a book, I can just rip it apart. And he was like, that is genuinely one of the worst books I've ever read. He said. And I was like, well, no. I was like, how dare you, sir? How dare you try to get me to buy it with my money on this hardback? Because you knew I would hate it. Just for your entertainment. How dare you? No, I'm always like, that's why I like your taste. I've got, to be fair, we have very similar taste. No more. I read your books that you read. I need to do my maybe I should just do my translated fiction bookcase. I have a lot on there, like a lot. Are you going to do any more content around Nobel? To be honest, Tulsi, I haven't been able to like think about that kind of content. I haven't been keeping track of anything, so I can't really update this year at all. I moved house, like threw all my finances into blur, because I had to like buy loads of stuff. I had to buy like boxes to put things in, and then things got broken and things had to get replaced. And I was like, so unfortunately, my Nobel content this year has been fudged all by the fact that I moved, which really upset me. I think I would go back into like the no-buy discussion a little bit in a few years' time when we talk about getting married, because I kind of want to do a low budget sort of wedding, and that I think would be a really interesting way of like talking about small weddings and doing things a little bit unconventionally, because I want to make a lot of stuff. I'll be making my own wedding cake, I'll be doing my own makeup, and I'll be like getting a very cheap wedding dress, so because we're already doing things a lot smaller than a lot of people do. So yeah, I think that'd be a fun thing to do, but that's not for a few more years now. But I think that'd be quite fun. Oh, I pronounced your name correctly, yay. I always get scared that I do it so wrong. Oh, no way! Eric, you're going to do Sky in the North Coast 500 next September. That's incredible. I hope, fingers crossed for you. That would be great. It'll be... will it be chilly? Maybe a little bit chilly. But you'll be past midgie season, so you don't have to worry about midgies, really, back then. Unless we have a heat wave, then you've got midgies. But I think September's probably a better time of the year to do it, because everyone does the North Coast 500 in the summer, and the amount of tourists on Skye is insane. I don't know how anyone lives on that island. The Isle of Skye is basically like the Edinburgh Fringe, but a whole island. And I was like, this is a deeply unpleasant. And I just went passing through. I went down to see dinosaur footprints. We drove very briefly around Skye, and I was like, this is hell. We saw the ferry pools and dino footprints and the Man of Store. No, we didn't see the Man of Store. We didn't see the Man of Store because it was so foggy that you couldn't actually physically see him. This big bloody ass mountain, like cliff thing, we couldn't see it because it was so thick with fog. And I felt really sorry for the locals of Skye, because I was like, this is brutal. Like this is like the worst congestion I've ever seen in such a small area. Like, we went to see the ferry pools. I think it took us 2.5 hours just to drive from the bottom to the car park. That should have only been a 15-minute drive, and it took 2.5 hours. So it was insane. But I love the north. Like, Durness is probably one of the best places in Scotland ever. Like, that's one of the most beautiful areas of Scotland. I love it. So highly recommend the north of Scotland. I haven't read Demon Copperhead. Ironically, I read David Copperfield to read Demon Copperhead, and I just enjoyed it so much that I didn't go on to Demon Copperhead. I've been told it's really good. I only read David Copperfield for that very reason. I just never got around to it. Eric saying need to say I catch up on classic literature like the Odyssey, Silas Marner and David Copperfield. Silas Marner, you know what, that's kind of a wholesome. It's a very easy read, Silas Marner. Essie in a coal hole. That's all I could see. All I said to myself was, Essie in the coal hole. That's all I really remember. I was like, I mean, I remember the story. I know what the story is, but I was like, Essie in the coal hole. But yeah, to be fair, I need to catch up on a lot of classic literature. I feel like when I go through a reading slump, maybe I just return to that, because that always gives me the inspiration I need to keep reading. So I just hear my tummy rumble. I have eaten dinner, but that was a big gurgle on my tummy. Sorry if you just heard that. Hopefully it was quiet enough. Arsim's currently reading Secret History. Oh no, Patricia hated The Discovery of Witches. It's a torn book. It's a torn book, guys. Monique asks, my question is, how did you manage to find shelves that would fit a lot of your books? Did you plan it out in advance? So I already owned most of these. So these are all just painted. So a lot of them are my old bookcases that were painted. So these all moved up. And I said to Jake when we moved in and carried these things up, because we just moved everything ourselves, this bloody bookcase of 2, I said, we're never leaving this flat. We are here for the rest of our lives. We are going to die in this flat. Because that was bloody hell to carry up by ourselves. Like, that was brutal. Honestly, the heaviest things I've ever carried. Because they're solid. And yeah, because again, we were being cheap. So we didn't buy... I had to carry every single one of my books up the stairs. Because Jake unloaded them from the car and dropped them off the floor. I carried them up. And I similarly carried them down for him to put into the car. So my legs were toned this spring when I was carrying all these books up and down the stairs. Oh goodness. But I bought these 3 over here. So I bought 3 new bookcases over here. And I just measured the same sizes. I wanted basically the same size. I knew the depth. So I was like, okay, I know the depth. So I bought these 3. And I got these 3 pretty damn cheap. Because these 2 were £75 each on IKEA. And that other one at the end, which is more solid wood, I think was 120. Again, I was just looking from B&Q as well. So I was just looking for books that had the bookshelves that had the depth that I wanted and the size, based on entirely the OG bookcases that I already had. So I've added 3 to the collection. All the others, except for one, we didn't make it. We wanted to strip the paint off it, and it just wouldn't strip. And our neighbours complained that we were sanding too much. Even though we sanded for 2 hours, we got complaints. I'm like, you know what, I'm not dealing with it. I'm brand new here. I'm not dealing with people complaining that we're sanding after 2 hours of sanding. So I got rid of that one because it was really hard to get the paint off it. But all the other bookcases are the same. So it was just adding 3 more to the collection. And believe it or not, I still ran out of space. And there are still books on the floor. Hi, picket fence. I just saw you. No, Morna was like, Outlander, guys. Why haven't we mentioned it? You know what? I haven't ever read Outlander. But I went to an event where the author, Diana Gabaldon... Is it Diana Gabaldon? Diana Gabaldon? Can I remember her name? Outlander author. Yeah, it is Gabaldon. I thought it was. It sounds like I'm like a turkey, with all due respect. Like Gabaldon. She was there, and Neil Oliver was there. And I was filming the event for Scottish Book Trust. And of course I just know it as like a romance book. That woman is so intelligent. It's unbelievable. I was like, damn. I'm pretty sure she's got a PhD in biology as well. She's a doctorate. I can... Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure she's a doctorate in biology. Let me double check for you. PhD in behavioural ecology. So she did her master's in oceanography. I could never say that. And PhD in behavioural ecology. The woman is so fucking intelligent. And I was like, holy crap, she's awesome. The fact that I just thought, I don't know. When you think of romance stories, I always thought of like Chandler Bing's mum from Friends. So the idea that there's like this doctor, I was like, niche. I respect it. Totally respect it. Midnight Train said, were you ever a Harry Potter fan? I was until JK was a bigger. I was. But I was a massive fan for the first 3 books. Because I read the books when they first came out. And there wasn't any films back then. So I was known as the girl who really liked this like Harry Potter thing. And then they released, before the films, they released like illustrations of them. And I remember having all these illustrations, like stickers on my walls. like big stickers. And the film came out on around my 10th birthday, because I went to the premiere, not the fancy premiere, but the premiere in Birmingham for my 10th birthday with my friends. And that's when the films came out. And then after the 4th book, I stopped liking the books because they became more YA and less children's, which goes with me very much. I'm not a massive fan of YA. So I stopped being a fan, very much so. And then it was just kind of like, oh, it's a fun little thing in the background. You know, my first YouTube video on here was a Harry Potter video. So I was very much like, still like, I thought it was cutesy, that there was like Harry Potter in my life in some form, but I wasn't a massive fan like a lot of people are. And then I remember in 2018 when J.K. Rowling liked a very suspicious tweet and then unliked it and said it was like, oh, midlife crisis. And I'm going, nah, you're too intelligent for that. With all due respect, you're too intelligent. You liked that, didn't you? I remember telling my friend who is non-binary, I was going to play with them at the time, and I mentioned, I was like, I'm not happy, and they were like, no, J.K. Rowling's so nice. They took that back in a few years' time. They just would not believe me. I was like, I don't know what my suspicions about this J.K. Rowling person. So I'm really glad I wasn't that invested. Like, I grew out of it, like as naturally as a lot of things that we like in childhood. A lot of people still loved it. I'd grown out of it so it wasn't that hard for me to let go. But yeah, it must have been a big part of my life, but I may have just blocked it out. In all honesty, I may have just blocked it out. Do I like coffee or tea? Which kinds? I love tea. I don't like coffee. Coffee makes me really tired. I don't know why. It immediately makes me tired. I'm very unwell. I think it gives me heartburn, to be quite honest, but I feel incredibly unwell if I have coffee. I like tea. I like chai, and I like apple tea, Turkish apple tea, and I like Bird and Blend's chocolate digestive biscuit tea. It's very, very good, yummy. Oh, sorry, Dan, I just saw you a message. Can you please repeat the title and author of Referencing Sappho? It's called After Sappho by Selby, Selby, Wynn, Wynn, Schwartz, Schwart, Z. Yeah, it's Z. Schwartz. So After Sappho. It's really, really good. Thank you. Sorry, I keep clicking comments and it blocks the comment from me reading it. Monique, my favourite thing was finding out via Lena Norms that eloping at one place in England has been popular for centuries. It is going, what's it called again, that area? It's gone on my head. You all go to bloody, when she got married. It's gone on my head. Just on the border of Scotland, just underneath Scotland. Oh god. Living in England. It's gone out. It's gone my head. Where was it called? What the heck? It's so famous. Gretna Green. That's it. It's yeah. There's kind of a couple of people who've gone to Gretna Green. It's I mean, if it's like a cheaper way of doing it, it's very expensive to go there if you don't live nearby in terms of like travelling up. It's quite a long journey. But I suppose people do destination weddings all the time. It's always happens in like Jane Austen novels. Everyone they're running away to Gretna Green. It's silly. The history of that is quite funny. But I didn't think we'd go to Gretna Green because I want to be in Scotland rather than England. Because I don't want to go over the border. I want to stay in this part of the country. Thank you very much. I thought it was very cool how she got married. I think that's really, really her style. I think it was fantastic. Oh, it's interesting. Alberta says they really hated to read the Epic of Gilgamesh. Picket Fence, where would you go on a honeymoon? I don't know if we could afford a honeymoon. It would be like maybe like either we ask for like wedding money to go for a honeymoon. It would be to Greece because I've never seen Athens and I really want to see Athens. And Jake says he would like to go to Athens too. He's been to Athens, but I have not. But he's very happy. What's that? Costin Vargo said, speaking of pretentious, I thought of this joke. If you order something abroad and custom sends it back, was it important? Well done. Let me see. Have I ever read books by Howard Blum? Doesn't ring a bell. Oh my god, but do you hear my tummy? Howard Blum. Doesn't ring a bell, any of his books. Let me just see his titles. No. That's definitely nothing I would have read, I'm afraid. Sadly, it's not my area, really, but I've never actually seen any of his books. So, no, I haven't read any, I'm afraid. It's the one that you would recommend for people to read. Oh, sorry, you're listening. I just saw that you asked about what midges are. Midges are like little tiny flies that bite you. They're not mosquito size. They're just little tiny flies that just nip you. Like, and they can give you quite a big bite, to be honest. But they're really, really tiny. So you see like a little midgie. But they're no bigger really than a fruit fly. If you have like those around, then they're not much bigger than that. They kind of look like them similarly to the outsider. I've got a smudge on my glasses. How I've got a smudge on my glasses? There we go. Oh no, I made it worse. There we go. Life-changing, keeping a thingy here all the time. I'm always like, where is one? I was like, now it lives here. It just lives in front of the computer. Ironically, Eric, you may have better weather, because August last year, when Jake and I went round the north coast, rained terribly. But then this August, it's been a heat wave. So if we'd waited this year, it would have been brutally hot, like over like close to 30 degrees. But last year it was cold and wet. So you can never predict the weather at all here. It may be really sunny and hot when you come here in September. It's never consistent. There's been a few years here in Scotland where October has had a heat wave. No one expected it. But it's only happened some years. But it's always October. Let's see. Oh no, it jumped again. No, I'm so far behind. I'm so sorry. Oh, Lindsay Grant said you inspired me to finally read the Odyssey. Yay! I've had it on my shelf for years and I finally sorted it out. Yes. And Adina said I just read Circe by Madeline Miller. Really enjoyed it. And Patricia loved Demon Copperhead. Everyone has said positive things about Demon Copperhead, so I have to give it a go. Navir says I'm going to be registering my request that if you fix your damaged books, you make a video on it. And to be fair, I don't think I've ever had to have a book fixed. I tend to naturally keep. Sorry, my tummy keeps rumbling. I tend to naturally keep my books in pretty good shape. There's a couple that have had the pages fall out, like chonk out. But I tend to keep them pretty well kept. I'll crack this. I think, you know what, I think a lot of people who don't crack the spine, I think that's actually really healthy. I think cracking the spine is kind of necessary for longevity of a book. Crack the damn spine. I feel like a lot of people have I think lots of people have real issues. Like they won't buy a book that has like a little tiny dent here. Or, like a slight fold in the page. That does not bother me. But my books are I think dusting is the most important thing to do. Dust your books, people. Oh my goodness, they're all going off again. Apologies. Oh no, Elysium's bookcases started collapsing. Oh dear, I hope mine don't. I mean, all my bookcases have been pretty cheap, so I hope they don't. But they have all been pretty cheap. Monique's going through a Bronte phase right now, specifically with the whole invention of glass now. Has anyone read about Juvenalia? No, I have not. There is I think it may be a play, to be honest. I think the National Theatre's got a play of the Bronte sisters on at the moment. I think it's called like The Other Bronte Sister, I think it's called, 'cause it's about Emily. And how she was completely ignored. But I'm pretty sure you may be able to watch that online. I could be wrong. I keep seeing adverts for it and I'm like, that looks like a good play. I kind of can't believe there's another Wuthering Heights film being made, and it looks really bad with Margot Robbie in it. Though if Margot Robbie can do a Yorkshire accent, then I'm all for it. I'm very excited to hear that, but it just doesn't give me the vibes. I mean, he's the wrong race for a start. He's so white, the guy playing. I was like, okay. Go for it, I suppose, but yeah, it looks kind of a bit weird, that film. Oh, my tummy keeps rumbling. I'm so sorry if you can hear my tummy keep rumbling. It's really embarrassing. What are my favourite plays? I'm currently reading As You Like It. So again, I'm afraid I'm just Shakespeare bitch. So I said this earlier, I think Henry IV Part 1, Richard II, and Twelfth Night. I also love Richard III. I like the history plays and Titus Andronicus. I'm afraid I'm kind of a bit basic. I do just love Shakespeare plays, really. Are there any that aren't? That I would like to say, yes, I love that play. I suppose basic, but Waiting for Godot. Sorry. Waiting for Godot is also... I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed seeing that performed with Scotland. Like Scottish accents. Scottish people should always play Waiting for Godot. It makes so much more sense. Like, it just fits the play so well. So, I've just picked up the Shandi Bach translation of Aeneid. Have you read it or have an opinion on it? No, I have not read that translation of the Aeneid at all, I'm afraid. So I have no opinions on it. Mickey, your Pottermore video was the reason I became a subscriber in 2011. No way! You've been here so long. You have been here so long. To be fair, that is a funny video. It's like, it's probably the only funny video I've ever made. Me filming on my webcam on my laptop. Oh no, I haven't frozen. I thought it froze then. Oh, Monique, I was always a huge fan of Philip Pullman's Dark Materials. Haven't read the Book of Dust yet, but no spoilers, please. No spoilers, people. I haven't read any. I read the first book of his Dark Materials. Is that The Golden Compass? I didn't like it. I didn't bother reading the rest. Maybe I was too old. Sorry. Maybe I was too old when I started reading it. Maybe I was too stressed. I was at university. I was just like, but everyone loves him. So I was like, maybe, again, my lack of imagination prevents me from enjoying a book once again. And Mary's the same as me. Coffee makes her sleepy. And like, it's really weird. It has a reverse effect on me. Stop, really? I live in Turkey and their apple tea is actually hot apple drink, not tea at all. Oh, we have like they're little tea bags, but I don't know what's in, it just says Turkish apple tea. So clearly it's just like a different thing that isn't Turkish apple tea. What's the latest thing in your home library right now? I read it would be the book that I got given for free, which was this one here. Stay there. Classicism and Other Phobias. A black classicist take on racism in the classics and white supremacy in the classics world, and the Greco-Roman centricity of it all. But I haven't read it, so I don't know anything more about it. But yes, this was sent to me for free by Princeton University Press. I may have asked for it. I can't remember. What's funny is I saw someone else post about it online. I went, ooh, that book sounds interesting. And I was about to buy it. And then this arrived like 3 days later. I went, God? Really? I was like, I didn't buy it. Oh, it jumped again. I'm so sorry. I'm so far behind. I'm trying my hardest. I promise. If I may ask, last stream you seemed a bit unwell mentally. Would you say you got better since then? No pressure to answer. Don't worry. I'm never okay. just assume I'm never okay. Quite honestly, I'm never okay. My mental health is never good. But whose is? Like, whose is just... I think I'm more frustrated that my mental health prevents me from just getting on with things, like, you know, doing my PhD. You know, I am so far behind on my PhD to the point that I'm not sure if I should continue, because I'm not sure if I can finish it. Am I just wasting money? Because if I'm this ill and I worked this slowly to get to this point, then is there more point to me paying another £6,000 of my own money when I've already spent £9,000 of my own money to complete it if I can't complete it? I don't know. But I'm already £9,000 down. Might as well waste the other six and try. But the fact that other people can just... Sorry, this burp. That's really rude of me. The fact that I can... other people are doing so much better than me in terms of like their progress and just getting on, and they have mental health stuff, makes me feel really pathetic. I'm like, great, I can't do anything, can I? I'm so bleh. My brain's just so bleh. But I would say assume nothing is okay. But sometimes I can smell for the camera. It's absolutely fine. Oh, William, thank you so much for your congratulations. Alberta said, what's the Scottish version of a heat wave? Probably 25, 27 degrees Celsius. I think that's as hot as it gets. But that's as hot as I can handle. Because I had to go to Amsterdam recently, and I hated it. And it was 37 degrees Celsius there. Why? It's Amsterdam. Why are you that hot? And what's worse is, there's no bloody wind in Amsterdam. Like, at least in Scotland we have wind. You have dry air. Like, there's just nothing there. I collapse on the streets. And it is true what they say, with all due respect, I do love the Dutch, but, like, they don't care if you live or die. Like, no one gave a shit that I was, like, on the floor. Really unwell in Amsterdam. And I was like, can you, like, move out the doorway? Like, I was like, but I'm like, I've collapsed. I can't go into the building. I'm like, yeah, but, like, it's... They just don't care. We had to call the ambulance twice on me, and they're like, she'll be fine. Just make her lie down with a wet towel. I was like, I've been to Italy and Greece, and I would never collapse with that kind of heat. It was just because it was so intense with no wind. I was like, it's really freaking dangerous here. So yeah, that was brutal. Like, Amazon was brutal. Antique books are fun to collect. I agree with you, Amina. Arsenal's like, breaking the spine hurts the book. Do you want your books to live in pain? Do I have a favourite movie or any other form of media other than books? Not really. I don't think I have a favourite. I mean, I loved Oppenheimer to the point that I watched it twice in 1 week, which is something I never do. I don't like films very much. I don't like sitting still for that long, staring. I say that as someone who reads books, but it's something very different. I feel like I'm trapped. Like, at least with a book I can move around, I can make a bit of noise. In a film you can't do anything else but, like, stare, transfix, and not make a noise, and everyone's watching you. Like don't make a noise. With a book, I can take my own time with it. I can flick back and forth, I can repeat something. You can't do that with a film. So I love Oppenheimer. But my favourite film before that was probably Shrek and Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, that's it. The Floor of Heaven. A True Tale of the Last Frontier of the Yukon Gold Rush. Thank you for the recommendation. I've never heard of that at all. Here we go. Does anyone have tips on getting rid of that vanilla mold smell that older books have and secondhand books may have? I know many people love it, but it's not a few that are very repelled by it. Honestly, I don't think there's any way you can actually get rid of it. The only way you probably get it maybe to lessen than is to air out the book. Like, leave it out to air out. Obviously you risk it getting sun damage to the pages, but I think it would require you having to turn each page and let each page air out. I'm not sure you can get rid of it. Maybe there's a spray that's been invented for it. I just can't smell them unless I put my nose in it. Like, I've got a lot of old books. I don't smell the smell unless I, like, really go sniffing in, which I don't really do. So it's never really bothered me, but I suppose if other people are really sensitive to smell, maybe that gets them. Oh, T says, you're an absolute queen. The influencer scene is so brutal that you're incredibly resilient and intelligent. Oh, that's very kind of you. I'm not that resilient or intelligent, but thank you. Bart says, the sunk cost fallacy problem. After investing so much money, the question is, should you keep going? Exactly. Like, I either quit and have nothing to show for it, or I quit, or I complete it and fail. But at least like, my money got towards a failure. I was like, well, I'm already $9,000 down. I might as well lose 6 more. At least I have something to show for it. The failure. Ironically, they'll probably just give me a master's instead, which would be so devastating. The most expensive master's I would have ever paid for. I think that would actually be more insulting. I'd actually be like, actually just give me the failure. It's fine. You don't have to give me a master's. Just give me the failure. Because it's way more insulting. I'd rather just have no degree. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Have I written any books? Not personally, in terms of myself. I have ghostwritten books for clients when I was a ghostwriter, but I have not written any books, and I don't see myself reading any books. Tulsi asked, do I watch TV or just books? I mean, I watch YouTube, but I don't watch TV. Like, I haven't seen the vast majority of television and films in this world. You can name a film like Mean Girls. I don't know what other films there are. Mean Girls. What's a popular film? Everyone knows about Mean Girls. High School Musical. I don't know what's popular nowadays. Basically, most films and TV I've never seen. The only TV I've watched religiously from beginning to end is Downton Abbey. I have seen that from beginning to end twice. And I will see the Downton Abbey film that comes out in September. I got my partner to Downton Abbey. So they liked it too. So yeah, today that's one TV show I've watched all the way through twice. But I don't like watch, like I never had Netflix or Disney Plus, so I've never seen like things on those things. I've seen Squid Game though, because someone else had Squid Game and I've seen that. But yeah, it's like I'll see something that's like someone sits me down and goes, watch this with me, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. But I don't watch it on my own. So when Jake is not here, my partner, I don't watch anything. When Jake is here, he wants to watch things, so I watch it with him, if that makes sense. But I never watch things myself, so it's not something I've ever done by myself. Eric Carlson, we should get more pirate adventure swashbuckly books, because yes, they are. There's not many out there. I saw Arsen's thing about Oppenheimer had more cameos from famous physicists than any MCU movie. So true. Oh, sorry, Emma, I missed your question. Digital age here. All books I read, except for collecting, are digital. Ah, it's interesting. I own a few digital books, but not as many, obviously, as this book. What are my thoughts on Matt Haig's books? Not my cup of tea. I'm not a fan, I'm afraid. It's not. I should care about them. I just don't like them. It must be just the writing or something about it. It just doesn't work with me. People keep buying me Matt Haig's books, so I think they think, oh, like, what's it, like Midnight Library or something, she'll like that. I'm like, no, I don't want anything by Matt Haig. I've never willingly bought anything by Matt Haig. I've always been given things by Matt Haig. I have no interest in Matt Haig. Oh, Pickett said, like, nah, girl, I will not let you lie. You're so resilient and one of the most intelligent. That's very. I want to say no, I'm not, but I feel really bad. How many books do I read a year approximately? Now is different. Now, because I'm doing PhD for the past 4 years, I'm probably only reading 30 full books from cover to cover. If I were to collect all the pages that I read together, they probably make more books. Before my PhD, I used to read on average around 60 to 70 books a year. I'm quite slow. But now it's probably around 30 to 40. Not that much. Because most of my time is spent rereading stuff. I reread this paper. I reread a book that I've already reread. I'm constantly just rereading the same stuff to try and write something slightly intelligent for YouTube or, you know, because you don't get time when I suppose I find it fascinating that there are some YouTubers who make a video essay every single week, and apparently they do it completely by themselves, and I've just got no clue how they do it. Like, I must just be either the dumbest or the laziest person on the planet, because it's like, it takes me so, like, basically all week to write one video script, and then I'm suddenly behind. I'm like, great, because now I'm behind next week's, and it's like, I'm not even reading a full book for it, and then these people are writing big philosophy essays in a week, and I'm like, I don't know how they do it. I have no idea how they do it. I'm either dumb or slow or incompetent. I've got no idea. But I can't read a book in a week and write a video essay for that book and, you know, film it and edit it as well as do my PhD in a week. Like, and have a life. I've no idea how they do it. I feel incredibly incompetent. So now it's running like 30 to 40 books a year, not counting rereads and not counting all the articles I read for academic works. My favourite YouTube channels. Who are my favourite YouTube channels? It's a bit weird. I just kind of like watch whatever's recommended. I like Mark Narrations. He's my little podcast that I listen to, but I know he's got a YouTube channel. And he just tells Reddit stories. And it's just kind of like a numbing background noise when you're having like lunch. I don't listen to anything really heavy going on YouTube, so nothing really intellectually stimulating or entertaining, because I kind of want to numb out when it comes to YouTube. But when someone asks me what a favourite channel is, I can't really explain. Like, I don't really watch the Vlogbrothers anymore, but they were my favourite channel. I don't watch... Yeah, that's weird. I can't think of a single YouTube channel as my favourite YouTube channel. If something sounds interesting, I'll watch it. Like, Rachel Maxey, or Makesy, I don't know how to say her surname, but I love seeing her videos. Like, when they pop up, I think she's like a lovely content creator, and I'm like, oh, she's just so glorious, so wholesome. And there's something just lovely and like Bernadette, I can't think of her surname. I've seen a couple of her videos, I'm like, oh, she's great, I love this. And then ContraPoints, when ContraPoints publishes a video, I'm like, oh, hell yes, a ContraPoints video, amazing, I love it. Or H Bomber Guy, I'm like, oh, hell yes. But they come like once a year. The last two come once a year, which is really sad. So yeah, I don't have many consistent. I put something on in the background whilst I'm brushing my teeth, or cooking food. Like, I can't do anything else. I've got more into listening to radio shows recently, so now I'm listening to In Our Time with my breakfast. I was like, I've got to the age where I listen to In Our Time more than anything else, which says everything, doesn't it? Now. Oh, H Bomber Guy talked about it. Oh, I haven't. Yeah, have I missed the H Bomber Guy video? I've missed where I was going. I think. Oh, here we go. So Violet says just got into playing D&D session and just wanted to say congrats on sending many positive loves. Oh, thank you. You have been an inspiration. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you so much. And have fun at D&D. Something my partner and I do is films at the weekend, so it's fun physical Blu-ray do. That's fun. That sounds like a nice thing to do. T asks, do you prefer YouTube or podcasts? I prefer podcasts. I think I don't really care to watch it, which probably makes me probably one of the many reasons why I'm such a shit YouTuber. I don't understand what's good on YouTube, what people want to watch. I don't understand people, which is why I'm like so crap and just post whatever I feel like doing. Then I get really stressed over thinking about it. So yeah, it's I do prefer podcasts, but it's really hard to make a good podcast as well. And I overthink everything and I can't make anything right. I fail at everything, guys. I fail at everything. But I do enjoy listening to podcasts way more. Like, I listen to them from the moment I wake up, like radio shows or podcasts, and they're the things I listen to when I'm sitting in bed, like just getting ready. Like, it's all mainly podcasts than YouTube. much like reading, there are so many films you could spend years watching. Exactly. And I haven't started reading the series Unfortunate Events. 'Cause I got distracted by work. Because basically I haven't read for fun. I'm not reading for fun at all, so sadly nothing. Do I watch or read any horror stuff? I'm obsessed with it. You never meet someone who's into horror and not obsessed with it. That's actually very accurate. I don't read much horror at the moment. I haven't read much horror for a while, but I do like horror. I don't watch horror. My favourite genre of horror is horror games. To my partner's horror, pun intended, I love playing horror games. More paranormal than slasher. We're into the ghosts. We're into the Dark Picture game series. I love a horror game, and I always have loved horror games. I hate horror films unless they're paranormal. I don't like slashers. Nothing like that. Nothing in the reality world. I only want like really weird paranormal stuff. So I find that a little bit harder to find sometimes because obviously all the films are kind of catered to that. But I feel like horror games really gets me into it. Oh, Carol said I missed your videos. Thank you. Got one of your mugs out on the post this week. Yay! Looking great on my bookshelf. Oh, amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for buying that. Also, how do you deal with problematic authors? I'm going to be doing my dissertation on Cormac McCarthy. This is before the news came out. Honestly, it doesn't change anything, does it? It's a dissertation on a problematic author. When it comes to academia anyway, you're meant to be keeping your opinions out of it. You're meant to be keeping you're meant to be making this as objective as possible anyway, so it doesn't matter. In academia, it doesn't matter. When it comes to personal life, just try not to financially support them in any way. Unless they're dead, then it doesn't matter. Unless you hate their estate. But like, it doesn't matter. You're doing a dissertation. It does not matter at all. Like, it's research. You're not endorsing them by researching them. Or their texts. And again, I find not getting politically involved in academia really hard, but it's a really big skill. But then now, because I am learning that, people then start thinking I'm a bit heartless because I seem to be like more emotionally detached from a lot of things. I was like, oh no, because like I've had to get this really grained into my head to be as objective as possible when I'm talking about things that get me upset when I'm reading and researching. And I can't switch that on and off very easily. I can either get really emotional about it, or I'm just like, gotta write about it and that's it. And I kind of had this a bit more, I say that as someone who gets incredibly emotionally upset about politics, but I save that entirely for my poor boyfriend who just hears me going like, oh my god, all the time, or crying about something that I can't change. But when it comes to dissertations, just get over and done with. I know from experience, perhaps it's just my experience, but supervisors do not care about your political opinions or personal opinions on anything you write about. They just want you to get the work done. Don't make the mistake I did, which was making it too political at the beginning, because even if your supervisor politically aligns with you and agrees with you, they're going to really tell you off. From my experience, of like, this isn't academia, this is journalism. Get your head out the game and start actually writing about this academically. It's really hard, and it's taken me a long time. To do it. Ong June says the video essayers who make a video a week probably plagiarise a lot. I don't think so, because there's really respectable people who do it. Like, sorry, the drug sellers are beeping their horns again. Like Unsolicited Advice. He makes like a 40-minute essay video a week. And I don't think he plagiarises at all. Because he's a Cambridge student of philosophy. There's no way he'd get away with that at all. I don't think he does. I think he's just got genius brain. And he can just do it. And there's lots of people like him who are like really intelligent and really good at just memorizing stuff and writing it out. I'm like, damn, no. I have not read Rebels at Sea. Is that no? I've never even heard of it. I'm afraid. Do 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 do. Pickett says comparison is the thief of joy. It is. You're not slow or incompetent. You're incredible. That's very kind. Everyone has their own ways of doing things. Don't make one better than the other. I suppose I just always compare myself because you can't help it, because then you're like, oh, how's your PhD coming along? Well, actually, I published like 7 papers and I'm already 3 chapters in. And where are you? And I'm like, kill me now. So. Or like people who aren't doing PhDs and have fewer subscribers than me get loads of book deals. And I'm like, kill me now. I've been pitching my book for years and everyone's ignored me. And then suddenly someone with like a 1/6 of my subscriber counts gets a book deal. Kill me now. I'm so incompetent. I don't read any graphic novels, I'm afraid. I think it's a good job I don't read any graphic novels, because I mean, I have been sent one recently, though, called Aristotle's Cuttlefish, but I haven't read it yet. But they're very expensive for what they are, and they're very big. So I'm glad I don't have many, because they take up even more space in my library. Yeah, Bart, you said it's because I have a life. I don't. I don't have a life. That's the problem. I don't even have a life. What am I doing? Jeremiah... It says, speaking of books and film, do you have an opinion on whether a book and film are equal mediums? I think they are. People would say their play is lesser medium than books. I would say they're equal mediums. I don't think there's a way of scaling mediums. Like, the only way, no, I don't think you can scale mediums. That's like saying what's better, the novel or the poem, like, or what's better, the sonnet or the haiku. Like, they're all mediums, and or like they're all genres and mediums. I don't think there's any one that's better than the other. I would say everything's equal. The only thing that you can then have is quality of production. There's a difference between a really high produced film and then a vlog where someone's filming what they bought for the day in their life and what they bought and ate at Tesco. You know, like, there's different qualities of this, but I don't think the mediums can be even compared on a scale. I would say they're equal in how much work goes into them. Like you say, like, compose similar elements of film, acting, lighting, music. There's so much theory behind each medium construction that it would be impossible to say they're not equal. Any audiobooks I listen to? No, it jumped. No, it jumped when I was listening to it. There's loads of audiobooks I listen to. Like, loads. I would say I just whatever I fancy listening to on the audiobooks I listen. I like whatever. Sometimes it's usually non-fiction history. I find easier to listen on audiobook because they're really dense and it's easier for someone else to like concentrate with me. So I tend to listen to mainly non-fiction. I don't listen to any fiction really on audiobooks, except for David Copperfield, which is an amazing audiobook. Oh, a big moth. It's beautiful. A big orange moth has just come into my room, and it's actually really pretty. It's like gloriously orange. She can stay here. Oh, yay! Annie got the sweatshirt. Thank you so much, Annie, for buying a sweatshirt. I really appreciate it. I'm so glad you like it. It's so soft, isn't it? They're so soft. May, I love Little Nightmares. I've played both. I can't wait for another one. We played both of them. And to be fair, you're right, it isn't heavy on the horror. It's more like a Tim Burton kind of horror game, isn't it? Because my partner could actually play that one. He wasn't scared of that one. He really enjoyed those because it's just more like creepy, like Tim Burton. Yes. Oh, thank you, Monique. You said I'm including those people being nerdy, loving geeks. Thank you. Oh, thank you for people saying nice things. Yes, everyone. Oh, it keeps jumping and I'm reading all the things. Yeah, awesome. You said 250,000 people subscribe to me. I must be doing something right, but I don't know what. That's what I mean. It's like I sometimes say to Jake, I was like, have you bought like a load of subscribers and like bots? And he's like, why would I do that? And I was like, I don't know, but where do all these people come from? It doesn't make sense. Like, my views and my subscribers don't make sense, and it really confuses me to the point I'm like, I don't get that many views, so I don't know where all these people have come from. It doesn't really. I'm sometimes like really like weirded out by it because it doesn't make sense, and it's also people who like, what do you call it? Sponsors, nightmare. Sponsors do not want to sponsor me because I have such random numbers for views. It's like I'm absolute nightmare for everyone. It's like I don't know how the internet works. I don't understand what people like anymore. Ooh, True Detective is a good show for philosophical pessimism. Thank you for the recommendation. I'm so bad at like actually following up on them. I wonder if Jake's watched that. He may have done. Whoop. Sorry, Monique, something I wanted to ask you. You're very good at explaining and articulating. How do you learn to do that well? It's a lifelong skill I've always wanted to do. I don't know. I sometimes think I'm not, if that makes sense. I'm like, I'm not very good because my supervisor has no idea what comes out my mouth. Like, I'll talk to her and she goes, what? And I look at her and I'm like, did I just speak in a whole different language? I'm like, did I just like say something backwards? Like, my supervisors look at me sometimes as if I just spoke in tongues and I'm just like, what did I say? And they're like, they look so confused. So I suppose I always judge myself based on people in academia who just think I can't speak or write for shit, quite frankly. They're always like, nothing you write or say makes sense. So I think articulate is a spectrum based on context. Honestly, I don't think it's anything that I have done, if that makes sense. It's just more, I kind of speak without a filter, which I think a lot of people speak with more filters, which is my downfall, but also make me sound more articulate, when really I'm currently in a room by myself and I have been for 3 hours just talking to myself and some text on the screen, because I can basically talk non-stop, and I think that's just purely ADHD and autism. Because I've been like that since a child. I was like, I could just talk to myself all of the time without for better for worse, without really filtering myself. And maybe that makes me look more articulate, but it doesn't go well in the real world in terms of actual like jobs or academia. It's not a good skill, because I get told off for it a lot, or people don't understand what I'm saying. So it sounds good on YouTube. I don't think it works well. I don't think it translates well into the real world. So see your strengths where they are, and don't let the facade of someone who can talk non-stop out of her ass for 3 hours be something to aspire to. Because I'm basically unemployable as a human. It's like my partner was like saying he's like wanted to like write CVs and stuff. I'm like, don't ask me. I've never been able to get a job ever with a CV. Like, I'm the worst person you could ask for any advice on a job. Have you seen my job record? I had to become self-employed. Don't ask me. What are my thoughts on Lolita? I haven't read it. I think I've always been scared of Lolita because of how foul the subject matter is. At the same time, everyone says like it's brilliantly written, but I can't really overcome that hurdle of knowing what it's about and wanting to read it. So it's really not been something on my radar of me wanting to read, if that makes sense. I recently watched Educating Rita. Love the mature student aspect, even though she's 26, and the dark academia vibes. What's your take on the Open University and distance learning in general? Open University, from what I know of, is fantastic. I know several people who teach and are lecturers at Open University. They're all high-end academics, like Oxford University, Cambridge students, ex-Cambridge students, St Andrews students, Edinburgh students. And they love working for Open University. They love being lecturers at Open University, and it seems to be a lot of lecturers want to work for Open University. It's sort of competitive now, because yeah, it kind of fits their ethics and morals and allows for their lifestyle. What I don't like about distance learning as a student is not having my library. And that's the main thing. I'm not feeling part of the community. Also a verging massive factor in what makes the PhD so hard, because I have no one to talk to. I see my supervisor twice a month. Not twice a month, every 2 months. And between then and then, I have no one to talk to. I have no peers. I have no community. I have no reference points. Nothing. I'm not part of any like clubs. I'm not able to lecture or be a part of this university body at all. And I think I wouldn't recommend distance learning, in all honesty, because it's not the same experience. It's not the experience I wanted from a PhD. And yeah, but then would I move back to Birmingham for 6 years? No. So it's like a catch-22. It's really beneficial in terms of you can actually work for a university for a supervisor that you want. We're not having to live in the same country as them. But also, you do not get the same university experience. There's no PhD experience anymore. This is nothing. It doesn't feel like you're in academia. It doesn't feel like at all like you're in academia. It just feels like you've got a big work project on the side that you've been putting off for a long time, and that's it. It does not feel like you're doing university work or academia work at all. Nothing. I don't feel like an academic. I don't feel like a student at all. So it's like a real weird catch-22. But the people I know who teach at Open University love it. And I know 2 people who do master's courses at Open University, and they also love it too. But from a PhD perspective, from distance learning, I don't love distance learning. Yes, I also agree with Daniel. It is very weird, like Anglo-Saxon academia. Elysium said, I love moths. They're so beautiful. They are. They're very pretty. I mean, they ruin my bloody clothes, though, but they're very pretty. Oh, Jeremiah extended me a lovely hug. Thank you. Nina, seeing someone as charismatic and lovely as being hard on themselves and even surviving is hard these days. Breaks my heart. Oh, thank you, Nina, for being so lovely. I don't say this for any praise. I hope people don't think I'm fishing for compliment by saying this. I'm just kind of like, have I ever played Strange Horticulture? I have never heard of it. I will look into it. And Strange Antiques coming out soon. They both sound like my kind of vibe. Yes, I will look out for both those. Thank you. Hello, Vapney. Thank you for joining. See, Jeremiah loves the unsolicited advice. Yeah, see. I mean, he doesn't. There's no way he does any plagiarism. Like, the guy just can produce a 40-minute video essay every week. I've got no fucking clue how he does it. I've got no idea how he does it, but my god. Meow 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 meow. Sorry, don't catch up. Thank you, Everly. Very kind of you. Master Man said you will fit perfectly in a nuclear power plant engineering department. Monique, I read Lolita. It's longer than you think because it's really slow paced, but it's obvious in subtle literary ways. They're never meant to side with the character. Yes, that's what I've heard. Like, it's not endorsing this character in the same way like Martin Amis. It's like an anti-hero. Martin Amis is money, and I do love an anti-hero book. I'd rather like sometimes hear on the bad character side. They're far more interesting. It's just more, oh, do I really want to be like hearing his thoughts? That kind of thing. Oh no, Taya said, any advice on becoming self-employed? I just lost my job. I'm so sorry. And I'm probably jumping into self-employment and creating a business, but suddenly confronting the lack of self-belief and massive fear of failure. I mean, other people have found benefits in joining a self-employment club. So people join like networks that have like working spaces where you meet other people who are self-employed, and they have like lunches together, like business lunches or business sessions, like almost like a study with me session. Lots of people really enjoy those in Edinburgh. I just never went to those because I'm too shy. And yeah, I'm just really socially anxious. I don't think I could do it, even though I probably would have benefited more from having other self-employed people in my life. I kind of fell into self-employment by accident. I quit a job randomly. Someone who I knew was self-employed and he had too much work on with this one client. I then became the person who did all the work. So I got lucky because I'd already networked enough to know people who were also self-employed. And then they had clients that you could then give to. And then suddenly YouTube earned me more money than what I was earning as a self-employed person for a client. So I was like, well, I might as well just do this thing. And I regret it every day. I don't regret it, but it's just like, it's so hard work. But somehow I'm still doing YouTube full time since 2021. So it's one of those things that's just like, I don't regret it, but also it brings me so much misery. Because again, it's a bit like the PhD distance learning. There's no one here. There's no one. I don't know anyone. I have no friends. I have no colleagues. I have no one to ask for help for. I have no one to talk, bounce ideas off of. No one's got a clue in my life what social media is because no one uses it. Like, I'm just like, well, fuck me, right? It's a really lonely experience. If I were you, I'd rather pick a niche. And work for a client. Working for a client is so much better than just working entirely for yourself, and you have to have multiple clients, otherwise you have to, for tax reasons, you have to have multiple clients or multiple sources of income, because it basically you then be like an employee for someone, so you have to have multiple clients, but at least get one client under your belt and try and pick a niche, whether that's the self-help industry or medical writing or B2B business to business writing, whatever your thing is, and try and get as many clients as possible, social media, outreach, that kind of thing. Creating yourself as a social media profile as well, in terms of, I offer these services, is a good way to get noticed. And also lie about what you've done before. That's how I know a lot of people got their jobs in copywriting. They lied that they'd been a copywriter for a year beforehand, and then they got clients because clients were like, oh, he's been writing for copywriting for a year. I didn't, because I just quit my job, so they knew the client that I was going for just knew my circumstances. But a lot of people just kind of lie and just go like, yeah. But I think the self-employment, particularly women's working groups or whatever, will be in your area, and they kind of that's a good way of other people meeting with each other. Oh, Jason's different from me. He likes distance learning. And Patricia says, I was a distance learner for my master's in Edinburgh and I liked it, but my circumstances were different as I work full time. I was able to research and study abroad two times though in London. That's very cool. Yeah, I work full time obviously as well, distance learning, but I hate it. So it's all for whatever people want from the thing. I mean, Jason says, I'm much more antisocial than you. No, I'm pretty antisocial, Jason. I've got nothing. I don't go out in public, but I miss having people to talk to about my subject, and not having anyone to talk to about my subject, even if it's just like, I don't understand this text, or how are you organising your chapters, or how are you taking notes, or have you had this problem with this library issue? Like, there's no one to talk to, and it's just like, okay. It's not about socialising, it's just more, I don't have anyone to ask for help from, or like anyone to reassure me, or I'm really struggling with this aspect of my, emails, or just stuff like that. I have no one. That's what I needed more. And also I just miss the library. Genuinely, going to the library every morning gave me a meaning in life, and now I don't have that. And that, I think that's why I was craving for my university experience again. I think I wanted to do the PhD so badly because the best part of my life as a student was going to the library every morning and working there on my days that I didn't have to work. And now I don't have that. It feels shit. Like, I was like, it doesn't feel the same anymore. Would you ever consider doing a library tour? Every time I watch your videos, I find... See, I don't think it would work. I've got so many books. It just sounds like a boring video where I'll go, this is this book, and this is this book, And this is this book. And this is this book. Is that a little beanie? Hello, my darling girl. So my dog just walked back in. They probably want to go to the toilet soon, so I better end this, wrap it up a little bit so I can take the beans down for the toilet, because they're probably like, hello, we've been holding in our pee for 3 hours. Sorry, it jumped. The chat jumps. I haven't played Heartworm. I've never even heard of Heartworm. They take note of Heartworm as well. No, not Heartworms. Don't give me Heartworms. I just want the I just want the game. I don't want. Ooh, that is like cool. That's like a very cool game. Thank you for the recommendation. I hope it works, Taya. I'm sorry that you're finding yourself unemployed now. Oh, photography. Oh, you can do that, Taya. That's easy. Not easy, but like that's so much better than like you've got like photography. You can do it. You can so easily do that. Instagram's getting there. Like you can so do that. It's not as like bullshitty as having to like talk about copywriting and stuff like that. Like that is so much cooler. Trust me, you can do it. You can do that. I know you can. After all these years, you can. Would you like to explore decolonial philosophy? I would. I'm not familiar with it at all. I'm afraid I'm not very intelligent when it comes to philosophy. But that'd be very, very cool. Are there any recommendations you would give where to start with that? Have you read The Second Sex? I mean, not all the way through. I read sections of it that I needed to for research, but not all the way through. But I would agree also. A lot of these big texts kind of do have a weak argument, don't they? Like, I find a lot of them is like, no, okay, all that for that, really. So if you can hear my tummy, I'm so sorry. I must be hungry. I had dinner before coming on, but my tummy's gurgling like no one's business. I was like, what was I saying? Oh yes, yeah. Obviously there's important sections of it, but to be fair, I don't find much theory really like, hell yeah, I'm glad I read that. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, well, some bits of you that was useful and some bits weren't. Like, what's my favourite debut novel of all time? That's incredibly specific. I mean, I wouldn't even know if the book I read was a debut novel unless it was advertised as such. I'm not sure. Should I search what the best debut novels are and see if I would agree? Best debut novels. Debut novels. Like, because technically Donna Secret History was a debut novel, but I read it 20 years after it came out. Are there any debut novels that I have read when they came out? I don't think I have, really. Like, I don't think I was one of the first to read that book that I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Technically, I mean, I don't know. I'm like looking at books that would have been, I was like, was I alive when that was a debut novel? Or like old enough to read it when it was a debut novel? I don't think so. I think I missed the train. Like, I mean, obviously a lot are debut novels, like The Lives of Locke Lamora, or The Secret History, obviously, or Name of the Wind. But I didn't read them when they came out, so does that count as me not liking it? Like, does that count as me reading it as a debut novel or not? That's the question. Oh, thank you, Monique. Austin's like, they're always smarter people. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, maybe stepping away from academia, but when I want to be part of academia, it feels really embarrassing to be as silly as I am, like quite dumb compared to everyone else. I'm like, oh dear, I'm so unaccomplished, I don't understand, and my writing is so bad. Like, my academic writing is atrocious. It's like my weakest spot is writing. I'm so bad at it. Sounds like the library is more of a psychological safe space for you. Perhaps over time you could imprint it on another. Perhaps, Jason, you're probably right. I think the routine of going to that library And just knowing that campus, I did love that campus so much. But you're right, I don't really have that same kind of sanctuary experience at all. Have I... Oh, Monique's like, my joke and pun was not intentional. Have I looked into any online academic communities I've been seeing around? I'm part of the PhD life coach community. I'm not sure if it's more led. I don't see the other people that are in it, so it's kind of only one person leading it. Like Vicky leads it, and then you just see the other people writing in the chat, a bit like you guys. Maybe the Accepted Society is a bit more sociable, but I feel like maybe I'm a bit too neurodivergent. When I've looked it up, I was like, I feel like I would not fit in here. It feels like it's very... I don't know, I suppose I just get intimidated. I was like, oh, it's really beautiful, high academic girls who all go to like Oxford and Cambridge and Harvard University, who are really beautiful and stunning and tall and thin. I don't think I will fit into this community. So I feel like I'm like, when I looked at the, that was the kind of, I was like, I don't fit in here with Accepted Society. I did look into it and I was like, no. I do not fit in with this crowd. Like I'm such a loser compared to that kind of like elite academic girls that are like just super stunners. I'm like, it's almost like going to like a model party as an influencer, going, well, I'm an influencer too. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not that kind of influencer, if you know what I mean. Like I'm not, I don't look like that. It's a bit silly. Great stream. Thank you so much, Bart. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming as well. I really appreciate it. The Wasp Factory. I've never read The Wasp Factory. And Tyler, have I seen any fringe shows? Yes, I've seen one. I've seen Christ Bride by BB Cave. And it's awesome. I took Jake there on a date because I was like, I want to go see the show. Can I take you there on a date? And he was like, I have no idea what it's about, and he bloody loved it. So he was like, that was wild. And she's been getting 5 stars and very well deserved. So if you are in the fringe, highly recommend Christ Bride. I think she's been selling out every night, so order a ticket online in advance before you go. It's very, very good. If you love medieval and you love comedy, like silly medieval, lots of modern puns with online dating, it's right up your street. It's very, very clever. Congrats on the amount of like subscribers. Thank you, Monique. I'm really grateful for you. Oh, so I hiccuped again. Guys, I've like got the weirdest hiccups and tummy rumbles ever. I was like, I don't know why. Thank you, the Darn Cat. Thank you for coming. I've always feel rude calling you the Darn Cat. But thank you so much. Also, sorry I keep playing with this. It's my wax melts. They're like wax melts that I've used but still have the scent, and they stopped making these wax melts, so I kept it in a bag and I just keep sniffing it from time to time. That's why you're wondering what I'm doing. It smells delicious. I have no idea what flavour or scent it was, but it's so good. Oh, Jason said my psychological safe space is the Bronx Zoo in New York Botanical Gardens. I walk around the... Oh, that's so nice. Thanks, Jinxie. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you all for joining. I never will have a show on the BBC, Tulsi, but thank you for having such a dream for me. Thank you so much for aspiring that for me. Sadly, I've never been noticed, but thank you so much. Thank you, Patricia. You're so kind. I really appreciate it all being here. Oh yes, Taya, I hope you find that one, The Fringe. Be excellent. I think you'll really enjoy it. I think I've got everyone's questions. Sorry if I missed anyone. Everyone was like, oh no, you should have answered this. But thank you all so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the recommendations. I've saved like a load in the chat. I was doing like little screenshots when you were recommending things. So thank you for giving me recommendations. And yeah, thank you so much for helping me get to 250,000 subscribers, which I never ever thought I did. I have no idea how, no idea where, but the dogs will now need to go down to the toilet. So thank you all so much. And I will see you soon for everything. Take care.